fit each dog. How did you know that this one was the one for Bo? So you would go to his fur, his personality, his eye color. Small accessories, whether it may be bow ties or bandanas, they really do add just a little more visibility for our dog. We're just really thankful for him for coming here today and sharing his message and his mission with us. If the dog could speak, they would be like, I look so adaptive. My hope for him is to keep this heart that he has, continue with his success in life, and just be the best person that he can be, like he is now.
And we are so honored because here with us now is Darius, his sister Dejay, and his mom Joy. And we're also joined by two cute pups from the ASPCA, Cupcake and Angel, who are in need of homes. Morning, guys.
Morning.
We're so happy y'all are here.
This is awesome. I just think this is the coolest idea. When you came up with the concept to put the bow ties on the dogs, what made you think it was going to really help them, find homes?
Well, I think that their cuteness and them being adorable and dapperness will help them find different looking homes.
I love that.
And it's worked, right?
Yes.
How proud are y'all of him?
Oh, we're extremely proud of Darius. Darius has come so far on his journey, and we're so grateful that a lot of people are reaching out to him to support the mission and what he's trying to do to get the dogs adopted.
Well, we are so grateful for everything you do. And Darius, we hear that you're a big basketball fan. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You like the Brooklyn Nets?
Yes.
Well, your team heard your story and they were so inspired, they are giving you 4 tickets to a game at the Barclays Center. This is Jerry. And guess what, Darius? Not that. But they gave you your own jersey.
I mean, we got for the whole family.
Yeah. They gave you a T-shirt. Oh, that might be the ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
You excited? Yes. They love you. And guess what else? That's not all, because we're going to officially place you in the Kids in the Spotlight Wall of Fame. There you are, Darius.
Thank you. If you know an amazing kid like Darius doing extraordinary things, we want to hear about them. Just go to hodaandjenna.com.
Yes, and don't forget these pups are up for adoption, the bow ties and all. It's never too late to start reading along. Meet our latest book club author, Linda Holmes, of Evie Drake Starts Over, one of my favorite books.
I love it.
Coming up next. Thank you, Darius.
And sweet. Charmin Ultra Soft.
Softer than ever. Charmin Ultra Soft is twice as absorbent, so you can use less. And it's softer than ever, so it's harder to resist.
You'll always be my lover till the end of time.
Okay, this is getting a little weird. We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
It's
Take Juno, the better CoQ10. Summer's Almanac Radio report.
Done. Some positive, encouraging.
Things within the arts.
which are a happy hour podcast. And we have members of our Read with Jenna book club standing by with questions.
Well,
Linda, we're so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for talking about the book and liking the book.
I loved the book.
So good.
I appreciate it so much.
So much fun. I mean, when I was reading that intro, I'm like, are we giving away too much?
You know, a lot of that happens right at the beginning,
Yes.
and it's sort of more about how it develops than it is about what's the plot, you know?
Exactly. You are a first-time author. This is your
am.
debut novel, which, by the way,
Yes.
hit the New York Times bestseller list.
Oh, girl.
Crazy.
What? How did you decide to write?
I had always wanted to write a novel. I had always wanted to since I was a little kid. And I think I realized as I was in my 40s, I realized, you know, it's been a wish for a really long time and it's going to stay a wish unless you make it into a plan. So that's what I did. And I announced on the podcast that it was my New Year's resolution. So then you're on the hook.
You
You're
have
on the hook.
to say it questions via House Party app. Hi, everybody. Hi. Let's start with Nancy Nix from Georgia. Nancy, what's your question?
Well, I follow the Atlanta Braves, but I'm not proficient in all the baseball terminology. Did you have to do some in-depth research, learn all that baseball?
Yeah, I did do quite a bit of reading. At the very end of the book, in the acknowledgments, there's a list of some of the books I read. I did read some terrific books about baseball. I had followed baseball throughout my own life. My nephews play baseball. My brother-in-law coaches baseball. But I did have to actually do some just research and reading about pitchers in particular and people who have had this affliction, which is called the yips.
Which is a real thing.
Oh, it's a real thing. And it's absolutely, if you see people who have the yips, it's so unsettling and it's such a scary thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? A lot of men have told me that they loved this book too, which is great.
Yeah.
Because it's a romantic comedy.
It is. I've had great conversations with men about this book. It's been so gratifying. And I think it's partly baseball, maybe it's other stuff.
Yes. Okay. We have Sarah.
Sarah Mishley from Michigan is next. What do you want to ask?
Hi, Linda. I was wondering, you made Evie a widow in the book, and then you added the layers of her being physically and emotionally abused. Why did you do that?
I think, in her case, it's largely emotional abuse. And I was interested in exploring that because I think she is somebody who has struggled not just to recognize that in her own life, but also to find a vocabulary for talking about it. And I think that's true for a lot of people. And I think she has an unhappy marriage, and that's a thing that happens to a lot of people in unhappy marriages.
Yeah. And then also it's not like she's looking for a man to save her. She kind of has to save herself.
Absolutely. One of the big things that she does is go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's not just, finding a new person.
Yeah.
That's what I respect.
Me three. Finally, we have Priscilla Delgado from Texas. Go ahead, Priscilla.
Hi, Linda. Here's the question. Andy, a guy, was Eddie's best friend. What was the inspiration behind that male-female friendship?
Well, I have a lot of very close men friends. And I think a lot of times in romantic comedies or novels in general, I think male-female friendship is an underappreciated, beautiful, wonderful thing. Actually, people will sort of say, well, can men and women be friends? But in most people's lives, they have those friends. It's sort of a silly question. And I really wanted to write about those beautiful friendships. So that's a special element of the book to me.
Well, this whole book is super special. There's layers. It's complex in ways that you're not expecting. I loved it. I'm so happy it did so well. And so many people loved it. And Linda's book is Evie Drake Starts Over. We are going to talk later on Instagram, by the way. So tune in for that. But also tune in Thursday when I announce my next Read with Jenna book club selection.
Lucky.
It's a good one.
Author.
Oh, I'm going to whisper what it is later.
Oh, cool.
To every nation, into every nation.
Can't wait for that.
Just between us, what's better than mopping? Anything. At the end of a long day, it's the last thing I want to do. Well, I switched to Swiffer WetJet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one, so it's ready to go when I am. The cleaning solution actually breaks down dirt and grime, and the pad absorbs it deep inside, so it prevents streaks and haze better than my old mop. Plus, it's safe to use on all my floors, even wood. Glad I got that off my chest. And the day off my floor.
Try WetJet with a money-back guarantee. How would I describe overpaying on a used car? It's humiliating. It's expensive.
Only Carfax.com can give you the most accurate price based on the Carfax report. Stop the shame of overpaying and start your used car search today at Carfax.com.
Seventh Generation gets the ingredients in their laundry detergents from plants, not petroleum. And this stuff beats stains. It's kind of a big deal. Let me tell you, it squashes 60 of your toughest stains and leaves your clothes looking radishing. So let us make the right choice and choose Seventh Generation's plant-based detergent. Was that too corny? Seventh Generation, powered by plants, tested on 60 of your toughest stains.
I had a few good tricks to help hide my bladder leak pad, like the old tunic tuck. But Always Discreet is less bulky, and it really protects, because it turns liquid to gel. So I have nothing to hide. Always Discreet.
Who's ready for a great ride? Ready to work out my constipation? Let me hear you. Yep, it's been so long.
Let's not talk about constipation. Seneca's natural vegetable laxative ingredient means occasional constipation won't be on your mind.
Keep it moving, people. Am I right? Come on, everybody. Work it out.
Say no more to occasional constipation with clinically proven effective Seneca. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
We're getting ready for choir competition. We need your help.
Matthew McConaughey, you don't need to puff out your chest like you're signaling your wife you're ready to mate.
Perfect Harmony, Thursdays this fall on NBC.
Friday,
This is the scariest case I've ever been involved in.
a killing spree in Arizona.
This was personal.
A case close to home. I couldn't walk away. Take on Friday, 10/9 Central.
The City Concert Series on Today is proudly presented to you by City.
At 17 years old, fellow Texan Abby Anderson moved to Nashville to pursue her passion for singing. Now, 5 years later, she's here with us. Here with you guys.
Abby has also opened for stars like Brett Eldridge, Walker Hayes, and Russell Dickerson. And last year, she was named one of CMT's Women of Country.
Women of
I mean, it's
Country.
insane.
And you're 22.
I'm 22.
When you were, named a woman of country, what went through your mind?
I'm a woman and I sing country music. It's so exciting. I was really honored. I really was. Nashville is full of amazing talent, and I'm just honored that they would include me in the pool of it all.
Yeah.
You were nanny. You were babysitting kids.
Yeah.
And
Here you are now.
What made you step away? Like, when were you like, you know what? I could do this.
I've pretty much been an attention hog my whole life. I love performing and putting on a show for people and smiling, and so I just always knew that singing and performing was what I wanted to do.
By the way, you follow this internet sensation.
I love you. I've been following this lady forever. So
I adore you.
I love it.
Here we are. Well, performing her single, Good Lord. I heard it's about a boyfriend.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we might have to hear about that afterwards. It's Abby Anderson.
Thank you.
It's the way you kiss me, if nobody's watching. It's the way you lean it, every time I'm talking. Ooh, your sunshine even when it's stormy. Ooh, you're sweeter than a Sunday morning. Got that good your sweet time on your head and your brow. Happy on your smile, every day you touch the sun. Good love to a heaven sent. Hallelujah, I can be dancing. Don't good, so good. I'm taking off my head. Good Lord, I got a good man. I thank the good Lord, I got a good man. You can evening letter. With yellow post-its, I paint my nails a new color. Ooh, I once noticed. Ooh, yeah, I know that nobody's perfect, but ooh, you gotta be the closest version. I bet the girl took a sweet time on your dark hair and your brown eyes. He's a happy on his mind, but he made it just a smile. The girl took her head and said, hallelujah, you're not gonna say that. And it's all good and so got me raising both my head. Yeah, good Lord, I got a good man. I thank the good Lord, I got a good man. Give them all credit, thank him every day. 'Cause I do believe in heaven every time you say my name. I met the girl, took a sweet time on your dark hair and your brown eyes. He's a happy on his mind, but he made you just smile. To what heaven said, hallelujah, you're not getting it. And it all is every soul. Got me raising both my head. Yeah, Lord. I got a good man. I got a good man.
Good job. Thank you so much, Jenna. And Abby's single Good Lord is out now. We'll be back after this. Nathan Man. You guys.
Did you know that every single flush flings odors onto your soft surfaces? Then they get released back into the air, so you smell them later. Ew, right? That's why Febreze created new small spaces. Press firmly and watch it get to work. Unlike the leading comb, small spaces continuously eliminates odors in the air and on surfaces, so they don't come back for 45 days. Now that's one flush and fresh bathroom.
You've tried so many moisturizers, but one blows them all out of the water. Hydro Boost with hyaluronic acid to plump skin cells so it bounces back. Neutrogena. And try our hydrating makeup.
Whose dog is this?
It's my special friend Antonio. His luxurious fur calms my nerves when I'm worried about moving into our new apartment.
Why don't we just ask Geico for help with renter's insurance?
I didn't know Geico helps with renter's insurance.
Yeah, and we could save a bunch too.
Antonio, fetch computer. Antonio. I'll get it.
Get to know Geico and see how much you could save on renter's insurance.
New Align Whole Food Probiotic, a blend of quality probiotics and fermented whole food botanicals, expertly curated to naturally support your gut health every day. Go with Align Whole Food Blend from the pros in digestive health.
Just pick a door. What about that? No, that's my door. What you want?
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
This is your door. You got a lot of bad guys behind that door?
My name is Ho. My name is Ho.
Access granted. Access denied.
Rated PG-13.
Bring the Funny is summer's #1 new show. Tuesday.
I learned teaching that children were a constant source of humor. From first grade, one event ended in 1814, kid rose 1813.
I'm not dumb because I'm from Alabama. I'm dumb regardless. Don't blame Alabama.
What happens in Vegas, it stays in Vegas. No, it don't. What happens in Vegas turned 5 in February. Bring the Funny. Tuesday after America's Got Talent on NBC.
We're getting ready for a choir competition. We need your help.
Lazy. Matthew McConaughey, you don't need to puff out your chest like you're signaling your wife you're ready to mate.
Just stick to the music and leave the relationships out of it.
Slouch. It's caused by fear of confrontation, which is why you stayed married to a man who let a snake loose in the house.
Did you read my diary?
I wrote it.
Bradley Whitford and Pitch Perfect's Anna Camp in Perfect Harmony. Thursdays this fall on NBC.
We hold the family's future in our hands.
I've been fighting these companies my whole life. What they count on is fear.
How do you handle the pressure, Dad, when winning or losing means everything?
You're one of the best legal minds I've known. You get back in the fight because the world's running out of heroes.
I will find him justice.
We can change the world.
Love City Law, Mondays this fall on NBC.
I want to thank this internet sensation.
I adore you.
Real life sensation,
Yes.
Heather, for hanging out with me today. I miss you.
I miss you
I said
already.
it 7 times. I thought I said it 1,000,000 times. But we can hang out in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heather, you're not going to believe. Tomorrow, guess who's performing for us? The one and only Billy Idol.
Okay, plus we have a 10-minute breakfast from Daphne off.
Okay, and we're going to take you on a house tour of some multi-million-dollar listings.
Have an amazing day, everyone.
More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
A vigil is held for the victims of Sunday's horrific Gilroy, California shooting, as new details emerged this morning surrounding the 19-year-old shooter.
A massive data breach involving Capital One credit cards and as many as 100 million individuals with tens of thousands of social security numbers and bank accounts exposed.
Another young child dying in a hot van left outside of a daycare. This after a father is arrested for leaving 1-year-old twins in a scorching car.
A Texas man tried to bring a rocket launcher home from deployment in Kuwait as a souvenir. That is until the TSA had a say in the matter.
And on the heels of a bison attack at a national park, it happened again.
He came up behind me and he got his horn, slashed it through my leg, and then threw me up with his head about 6 feet into the air.
Now take a look at this, teetering on the border, a seesaw to make a point. Early today starts right now. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Frances Rivera.
And I'm Philip Mena. Hundreds gathered in Gilroy, California for an impromptu vigil. Community leaders and residents mourning the 3 people killed during a shooting at the Garlic Festival. Police have not determined if there's a second suspect, but they did question someone who made a concerning post on social media.
Obviously, that got our attention. So we have located him. We have taken him into custody. And we've determined that he was not involved in the shooting, that he just thought it would be a fun way to get some attention, apparently.
At that press conference, authorities also shared more information about the gunman who was killed at the scene. NBC's Dan Sheneman has this report.
Witnesses say they heard dozens of shots in a matter of seconds.
And all of a sudden, just outright chaos happening. You got people dying within seconds.
3 people were shot and killed, a dozen more wounded, before police killed the gunman.
We are so proud of our law enforcement who undoubtedly saved many lives by putting their own lives in danger.
The gunman avoided festival security by cutting through a fence. Police identified him as 19-year-old Santino William Ligon. In a post from his now deleted Instagram profile, he mentions a book advocating racism, sexism, and dominance through violence. Also posting a photo of the Garlic Festival saying, quote, "Come get wasted on overpriced expletive."
It appeared as if though it was random, but I think we're still too early in the investigation to be able to say that definitively.
Among the fatalities, 6-year-old Stefan Romero, his mother and grandmother injured.
My son had his whole life to live, and he was only 6.
Those who survived left shaken.
It's going to take a lot of time to get used to what happened.
3 innocent lives lost, and now 1 community grieves. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
The Army is mourning the death of 2 U.S. service members killed during combat in Afghanistan. It happened in Kandahar. Military officials say an Afghan soldier opened fire on American troops, killing 2. The gunman was shot and is in custody. The 2 soldiers were paratroopers on the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. Their names have not been released. This comes hours after Mike Pompeo announced a reduction in the number of American troops in Afghanistan.
Breaking news this morning, a massive Capital One data breach has put over 100 million customers at risk this morning. The bank insists that credit card account numbers and login credentials are safe, but the breach exposed other information like card applicant names, addresses, birth dates, and credit history. The bank says about 140,000 social security numbers are also potentially at risk. FBI agents have arrested a former software engineer from Seattle in connection to the hack. Paige Thompson is facing charges of computer fraud and abuse, accused of stealing the data and posting it on an information sharing site. In a statement, the company vowed to notify affected individuals and make free credit monitoring and identity protection available to everyone affected.
As summer heats up, sadly, so do the number of hot car deaths. And unfortunately, it has happened again for the 24th time this year. This time in Florida, the young victim left inside a van outside of a daycare. The incident comes just a few days after a New York father was charged with criminally negligent homicide for leaving his one-year-old twins in their family car. Here's NBC's Blaine Alexander.
It's happened again. Yet another child left inside a hot car. A 2-year-old died after being left inside a van at this daycare in Oakland Park, Florida.
It could be a 2-year-old male, not conscious, not breathing, possibly left in the van all day.
The 24th child to die in a hot car this year. The incident comes as a New York father faces charges for the deaths of his 1-year-old twins. 39-year-old Juan Rodriguez sobbed during his first court appearance. He says when he went to work, he forgot his children were in the car. They'd been inside for 8 hours. The medical examiner says the temperature inside was 108 degrees. The twins' mother called it a horrific accident and defended her husband. He is a good person and a great father. I know he will never forgive himself for this mistake. Experts say it can happen to any parent.
Always look in the back seat before they lock up their car and leave a reminder in the back seat, something that you don't get through the day without looking at. Your phone, your wallet, your purse.
Another tragic reminder, look before you lock. Blaine Alexander, NBC News.
President Trump is stoking the flames in his feud with Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings. While critics have denounced his comments as racist, the president doubled down in a series of new tweets overnight. First, writing, Elijah Cummings never even went to the southern border, and then he screams at the very good people who make it work. Then he once again went after Baltimore, claiming its numbers are the worst on crime and the economy, saying, quote, billions of dollars have been pumped in over the years, but to no avail. The money was stolen or wasted. Ask Elijah Cummings where it went. He should investigate himself with his oversight committee. NBC's Craig Boswell has more.
President Trump expanding attacks on prominent black leaders that began over the weekend, calling Reverend Al Sharpton a con man who hates whites and cops. Sharpton fired back.
He's thin-skinned and not really mature that well. But he has a particular venom for blacks and people of color.
In a barrage of tweets, the president attacked Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings, calling his Baltimore district a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess. The response from Baltimore:
he shouldn't speak about us like that. That's all I can say. Everything else that he says is based on, which is just his ignorance and racism.
Congressman Cummings, who chairs the powerful House Oversight Committee, linking the tweets to doing his job as he works to subpoena top Trump administration officials, including daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner. Cummings tweeting, "It is my constitutional duty to conduct oversight of the executive branch, but it is also my moral duty to fight for my constituents." The president not letting up, later called Cummings a racist. He also criticized the congressman's oversight duties, the White House insisting the president's comments are not racist.
The president is pushing back against what he sees as wrong. It's how he's done in the past.
A new racially charged controversy now overshadowing the last one, when Mr. Trump told 4 congresswomen of color to go back to where they came from. Craig Boswell, NBC News, Washington.
After a hard-fought battle, the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund is now law. President Trump signed the bill, which essentially ensures there will always be money to compensate victims of the September 11th attacks. The president addressed first responders before signing the legislation.
It also provides pensions for those who are suffering from cancer and other illnesses stemming from the toxic debris they were exposed to in the aftermath of the attacks. Many of those affected were firefighters, police officers, and other first responders. And I was down there also, but I'm not considering myself a first responder.
The signing follows weeks of intense lobbying from 9/11 first responders, as well as advocate and comedian Jon Stewart.
So people try to get some weird things through TSA, and a guy in Texas tried to get this missile launcher in his checked bag through security at the Baltimore airport. The man told agents that he was in the military flying home from active duty in Kuwait, and he wanted to keep the missile as a souvenir. It wasn't active, but officials, they did confiscate it. Military weapons are not allowed, of course, in carry-on or check bags. And after all of that, he was allowed to catch his flight home.
A Pakistani reporter is going viral for his live shot in dangerous neck-deep water. Watch this. That is Adar Hussein. He was covering a flood that was heading toward a nearby town. And as you can see here, the water is so high that all that's visible is his head. Yeah, that's his microphone. What Hussein is reporting is something critically important. 71 people have died in Pakistan this month due to rain-related incidents.
A pair of California professors are using art to ease tensions at the southern border. They took a 2009 conceptual drawing of a teeter-totter that crosses the wall, and they finally made it a reality. Ronald Royale and Virginia Sanfratello say that even though the barrier creates a literal fulcrum between the U.S. and Mexico, this seesaw allows people on both sides to connect in a meaningful way.
All right, let's turn out to NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns with a look ahead now that we're like day 2 of this work week.
Good morning. Yeah, the heat's of the story today, especially in the Northeast where it's uncomfortable and maybe you're not quite as used to it. Right now, if you walk outside, it feels like 85 degrees in New York City. That is warmer than anywhere, including Miami. The only spot that is warmer is Houston. So it's a very humid, hot air mass that's in place in the Northeast. 29 million people are under heat advisories from New York City to Hartford to Boston. That's when we combine this afternoon and we get the heat and the humidity. It's going to feel like maybe about 100 in the sun, in the shade, excuse me. 92 in New York City today. Boston could be a high of 94. That's a look at the weather story of the day. Now here's a closer look at your day ahead. Well, the other spot that's going to be hot today is going to be in the Rockies. Salt Lake City could be 100 degrees today. Denver should be about 96. Some of the most beautiful air, and it's not humid, it's sunny, and it's just plain gorgeous. Doesn't be from Chicago up through the Great Lakes. Well, besides the heat, we're still keeping an eye on the tropics. We have a couple areas to watch. We'll talk about that coming up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
An officer had a close call with a mama moose and her calf. The Anchorage officer was driving on the highway when suddenly, see here, an adult moose right there, and her baby comes right out of the woods and onto the road in front of the patrol car. The officer hits the brakes just in time and avoids hitting the animals. And the baby, when he got so scared, ran the other way. I'm glad there wasn't a car in the other lane either.
Could have been much worse. Yeah. Some skin knees for the moose. Mm-hmm. Just ahead, a new role for Royal inside Meghan Markle's new job as editor. And a new study confirms your worst fear: the shocking amount of delivery drivers who admit to taking a bite out of an order.
No.
Here I go again on my own.
When a dealer sold them crushed aspirin. When they figured it out, they stole a backpack from one of the dealer's associates and demanded 100 euros and cocaine to give it back. Officer Rega was one of 2 undercover cops sent to respond. After he identified himself, officers say Rega was stabbed 11 times. The suspects, it has not been verified by NBC News. But officers are apologizing for this image of Hjorth blindfolded before questioning. They say that was a mistake. NBC's Sarah Harmon is in Rome.
Both of the teens are being held here, and there is real outrage in this country. The Interior Minister saying the focus should not be on that photo of a blindfolded suspect, but on the officer who was killed.
Elder's family said, "We continue to gather facts around the case, and their hearts go out to the family and friends of Officer Rega." Police say they found the murder weapon hidden in the teen's hotel room, and that they were ready to leave, bags packed, when they were arrested.
Well, thanks to Richard for that report.
Still ahead, a new warning for national park goers after the second bison attack in a week. And gonna ride the charts till he can't no more. Lil Nas X shatters his biggest record yet with Old Town Road.
Pretty
good. Dealing with psoriatic arthritis pain was so frustrating.
My skin, it was embarrassing.
My joints, they hurt.
The pain and swelling.
The tenderness.
The psoriasis.
I had to find something that worked on all of this.
I found Cosentix.
If targeted biologics, Cosentix treats more than just the joint pain of psoriatic arthritis. It even helps stop further joint damage. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine, serious allergic reactions may occur.
I got real relief.
I got clear skin and feel better.
Now, watch.
Get real relief with Cosentix.
Lactaid is 100% real milk, just without the lactose, so you can enjoy it even if you're sensitive. Yet some people say Lactaid isn't real milk. Well, I guess all those cows must actually be big dogs. Sit. I said sit.
My teeth have been feeling really sensitive lately. Well, 80% of sensitivity starts at the gum line. So treat sensitivity at the source. New Crest Gum and Sensitivity starts treating sensitivity immediately at the gum line for relief within days and wraps your teeth in sensitivity protection. Crest.
Whether you work inside or out, at home or away, on a farm or online, the goods and services you sell are your business. When you need someone you trust to begin, build, expand, or promote your business, that's our business. LCNB National Bank, your bank for life.
The Greene County Veterans Service Office is proud to assist veterans and their families with obtaining the services and benefits they have earned. We provide assistance with filing for VA benefits, transportation to and from VA medical appointments, and even emergency financial assistance. And veterans, it's all at no cost to you. So please give us a call at 937-562-6020. We are honored to serve those who serve.
Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
You really did nail that song. Sounds just like it. Looks like Lil Nas X has ridden his horse into music history now. The rapper's viral song, Old Town Road, has become the longest running #1 song to ever top the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The song has spent 17 weeks in the top spot, beating out Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men's One Sweet Day, who set the record back in 1996. Mariah tweeted Lil Nas, congratulating him, adding, "Keep living your best life." He was sitting on the toilet for this. He says, "Hey guys, I'm sitting on the toilet. I'd like to thank you guys for supporting me." So he's very appreciative in all environments, it looks like.
And he also keeps doing remixes too to kind of keep it up to date.
Get the legs.
All right. A Colorado teenager is recovering at a hospital in North Dakota after the second shocking animal attack within just a few days in our national parks. NBC's Steve Patterson has tips to stay safe on your visit.
Bison strike again. A tourist snapping shots of 2 bull bison fighting in North Dakota's Theodore Roosevelt National Park. But moments later, a 17-year-old visitor to the park Saturday was gored and tossed in the air. We spoke to the teen by phone from the hospital.
He came up behind me and he got his horn, slashed it through my leg, and then threw me up with his head about 6 feet into the air.
The teen said it was a safe distance away when suddenly one charged.
I didn't do anything to aggravate him, like it was all by chance.
The incident follows another attack in Yellowstone National Park last week. A 9-year-old girl was catapulted in the air by a charging bison. And last month in Yellowstone, a black bear was euthanized after biting a woman's thigh in a tent. Park officials are warning visitors about getting too close to wildlife.
They can turn on a dime and they can run 30 miles an hour. You can't outrun a bison.
Thankfully, the teen is expected to fully recover.
I'm so thankful that I'm still alive.
But it's another stark reminder around wildlife. Be aware and stay back. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
I didn't have to shout out for help. I didn't have to get you a lift.
And I didn't have to call your wife to meet you at the doctor.
Because you didn't have another DVT. Not today. We discussed how having one blood clot puts you at risk of having another, so we chose Xarelto to help keep you protected.
Xarelto is proven to treat and reduce the risk of DVT or PE blood clots from happening again. In clinical trials, almost 98% of people did not have another DVT or PE. Don't stop taking Xarelto without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of blood clots. While taking, a spinal injection increases the risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. You may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Xarelto can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. It may increase your risk of bleeding if you take certain medicines. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. Do not take Xarelto if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. Before starting, tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures and any kidney or liver problems. Enjoy every moment and help protect yourself from an unexpected one, like another DVT or PE. Are you doing enough? Ask your doctor about Xarelto. To learn more about cost and how Janssen can help, visit Xarelto.com.
It's a brand new morning for breakfast with the Jimmy Delights breadless egg wish. We got rid of the bread and replaced it with 2 egg frittatas. For a protein-packed start to your day.
And that is something else. Kind of makes you hungry, don't it?
Just between us, cleaning with a mopping bucket is such a hassle. Well, I switched to Swiffer WetJet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one that absorbs dirt and grime deep inside, and it helps prevent streaks and haze. Stop cleaning and start Swiffering.
This summer at Panera, we're going all in on strawberries. At their reddest, ripest, they make everything better, like our strawberry poppy seed salad and new strawberry summer caprese salad. Order online for delivery. Panera, food as it should be.
Don't you get the best price booking at one of those travel sites? They tell you that, but when you book at Hilton.com, you get the price match guarantee. So if you find your room at a lower rate, Hilton is like, We're going to match that rate and give you an extra 25% off. What would travel sites do if you found a better price? That's not my problem. It's your problem. Get out of here. Wow, I really felt that performance. It's just acting. I'm really good at it. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton Price Match Guarantee. If you find a lower rate, we match it and give you 25% off that stay.
Make me your one and only. Make me your enemy.
You know that is Katy Perry's 2014 hit Dark Horse. The jury has ruled that the underlying beat was copied from a 2009 Christian rap song called Joyful Noise. Perry's team claims they've never heard Joyful Noise before they began writing it, but they've lost their case. The penalty phase of the trial begins today.
That's now it's time to pay up. When we come back, Meghan Markle just added another job title to her list of accomplishments, and we'll tell you what it is next.
Introducing the Unlimited Cashback Bank Account by Green Dot Bank with one of the richest cashback.
Hey, that's not bad.
An unlimited 3% cashback bonus when you make online in-app purchases.
Wait, what?
Over?
Amazon? Walmart.com? I can't believe a bank would do that.
Believe it. Plus, the Unlimited app comes with a Green Dot Bank savings account that pays a 3% annual interest rate. Open your account at greendot.com. And get a $50 cashback bonus. Spend like normal. Save up like crazy. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Finally, an Eggo thick and fluffy waffle all to myself. Whoa. Karen, you gotta try this. Breakfast in bed? Major husband points.
Would you Lego your Eggo?
Good evening, everyone. Breaking news tonight. Lester Holt. Are you afraid Iran is playing with fire? What's it like to see them here celebrate its heroes?
This is what it means to be American.
The most trusted TV news anchor in America. That's Nightly News. I'm Lester Holt.
In today's top stories, an inside look at President Trump's turbulent meeting with the nation's top airline executives. For years, the big three carriers, American, Delta, and United, have rumbled with Middle Eastern airlines over pricey European flights, and the hope was to finally settle the dispute. But instead, according to NBC sources, the president sided against the U.S. airlines. Mr. Trump reportedly also ribbed American Airlines CEO Doug Parker over the company's lackluster stock price and lambasted Delta CEO Ed Bastian for not attending the meeting.
Firefighters in Houston came to the rescue of 15 construction workers when the top level of this hotel going up north of the city collapsed. A fire official says part of the floor buckled after workers poured concrete. 8 people were rushed to hospitals. The injuries weren't too serious, just some broken bones.
A Nebraska school teacher found a diamond just over 2 carats at a state park in Arkansas. 36-year-old Josh Lanik visited Crater of Diamonds State Park while on vacation with his family. After searching the park for over 2 hours, he came across this 2.12 carat brandy-colored diamond. This is just one of over 75,000 diamonds unearthed at that state park since 1906. And the best part, he gets to keep it.
Wow, it's a raw diamond right there. I would never think that that would be a diamond. Be like, yay.
Yeah, they had to go there from all over to look for us.
Meghan Markle can add a new job to her royal resume. This month, she is serving as guest editor for British Vogue's Big September issue. And as NBC's Keir Simmons tells its readers, may be in for a surprise.
She's one of the most written about women in the world, often criticized. These are her words. Let's shine light in a world filled with seemingly daily darkness, the Duchess of Sussex writes. Guest editing the influential British Vogue September issue, a role she reveals she asked for. Her editorial choices unashamedly political, advocating for inclusivity, spotlighting 15 female changemakers like New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who guided her nation through the worst mass shooting in its history, reflecting on a polarized world.
I do think there's a solution to that, though, and that's ultimately us come back to the humanity that we all share.
And pregnant with baby Archie, Meghan interviewing former First Lady Michelle Obama, getting advice on motherhood. Most of the time, my job is to give them the space to explore and develop into the people they want to be, Mrs. Obama says. I'm so excited for you and Harry. Imagine it, Meghan and Michelle chatting over lunch. Mrs. Obama supporting another woman, as Meghan puts it, as she speaks out, unlike any royal before her. Keir Simmons, NBC News, London.
Gonna sell a lot of copies, I think.
Yeah, it is. And it's one issue, but there may be more after that. Thanks for watching. I'm Francis Rivera.
And I'm Philip Mena. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram for news updates throughout the morning.
This morning on Today, the U.S. Olympic Committee, USA Gymnastics, and the FBI under pressure after a major new investigation finds how the system failed athletes and the new plans to protect them. This morning, only on Today.
Wednesday, a shocking vision and an unsolved soul could lead Cassie into a mystic hunt to find the killer.
Temsel speaks to betrayal, even death.
In between, Wednesday on NBC.
We hold the family's future in our hands.
I've been fighting these companies my whole life. What they count on is fear.
How do you handle the pressure, Dad, when winning or losing means everything?
You've been the best leader I've known. You get back in the fight because the world's running out of heroes.
I will find him justice.
We can change the world.
Bluff City Law, Mondays this fall on NBC.
100 million people exposed. Capital One Bank says tens of thousands of Social Security numbers and bank accounts have been breached in the U.S. New details ahead.
Police are still searching for a motive in Sunday's Gilroy, California shooting as we learn more about the young victims in the horrific attack.
The surfer struggles as a shark bites his arm. 2 shark attacks are reported at beaches just 100 miles apart.
I've never felt force like that from anything in my life, so I was in shock.
How to stay safe in the waves.
That Siri device on your phone or at home, it's always listening, but who else is on the line? This morning, an anonymous whistleblower sounding the alarm about Apple and eavesdropping.
Yikes! A creep with multicolored leaves one vehicle vertical along a busy highway. Early today starts right now. Good morning, I'm Francis Rivera.
And I'm Philip Mena. Breaking news this morning, a massive Capital One data breach has put over 100 million customers at risk this morning. The bank insists that credit card account numbers and login credentials are safe, but the breach exposed other information like card applicant names, addresses, birth dates, and credit history. NBC's Tracy Potts joining us now from D.C. with the latest on this. And Tracy, I understand the FBI has already made an arrest on this case.
They have, Philip, 33-year-old Paige Thompson, a former software engineer from Seattle, already arrested. Authorities went through her home and found what they say are devices containing some of this information, and they believe they've also traced a message that was posted back in July claiming to have taken the information, but it was an anonymous caller who reached out to Capital One back in July saying, just a few weeks ago, saying, hey, we think some of your information is on this data sharing website. And in fact, turns out it was, as you said, more than 100 million, that many in the United States, another 6 million, the company says, in Canada, whose information may be at risk, not logins and not credit card numbers, but social security numbers of 140,000 people, plus other information could be at risk. Take a look. Here's what the company is saying about all of this, that they've notified people who may be affected. They're offering free credit monitoring and identity protection. But the big question is going to be, how did the hack happen and what is being done or what will be done with those security systems to make sure it doesn't happen again? Philip?
So security breaches, all too common problem nowadays. Tracy, thank you.
President Trump is stoking the flames in his feud with Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings. While critics have denounced his comments as racist, the president doubles down in a series of new tweets overnight. First writing, Elijah Cummings never even went to the southern border, and then he screams at the very good people who make it work. Then he once again went after Baltimore, claiming its numbers are the worst on crime and the economy, saying, quote, billions of dollars have been pumped in over the years, but to no avail. The money was stolen or wasted. Ask Elijah Cummings where it went. He should investigate himself with his oversight committee. NBC's Hallie Jackson has more.
The president touting by tweet a private meeting with inner city pastors after his public attacks on the city of Baltimore, calling a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess and blasting the congressman who represents part of the city, Elijah Cummings. One attendee was asked whether he thinks the president's racist.
I find it hard to believe when you consider the things that have been done to black people.
You believe today was an attempt at damage control by President Trump?
No, no.
Congressman Cummings, in a moment that apparently caught the president's attention, recently slammed the acting Homeland Security Secretary over conditions at the border.
What does that mean when a child is sitting in their own feces? Can't take a shower.
Now, in a series of at least 20 tweets, the president's attacking not just the African-American lawmaker and the majority African-American city, but the African-American civil rights activist Al Sharpton, who criticized the president's remarks as a con and troublemaker.
Well, yeah, I am a troublemaker. I intend to make trouble every time racists and bigots move around in any way, shape, or form, including the president.
The president's defenders insist he's not racially motivated, but fighting back against a congressional antagonist. On the campaign trail, then candidate Trump looked for support from urban communities of color, promising to help.
What the hell do you have to lose?
But some in Baltimore suggest he hasn't stepped up. NBC's Rahema Ellis there.
What do you think about the president's tweet?
The president's tweet? I think it was idiotic. I think it was hurtful. I think it was bigoted.
I think he is a racist. Not only his tweet, but I think he has some issues as it relates to diversity.
And Francis, House Republicans have long been set to hold their annual retreat in Baltimore this year. That's coming up in September. Keep in mind, the sitting president typically goes and speaks at that retreat, which means this may not be the last time we hear about the president and the city. Francis, back to you.
What, Hallie? Thank you.
After a hard-fought battle, the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund is now law. President Trump signed the bill, which essentially ensures there will always be money to compensate victims of the September 11th attacks. The president addressed first responders before signing the legislation.
It also provides pensions for those who are suffering from cancer and other illnesses stemming from the toxic debris they were exposed to in the aftermath of the attacks. Many of those affected were firefighters, police officers, and other first responders. And I was down there also, but I'm not considering myself a first responder.
The signing follows weeks of intense lobbying from 9/11 first responders, as well as from advocate and comedian Jon Stewart.
The community of Gilroy, California continues to mourn the loss of 3 of their own. Hundreds gathered for a vigil to honor the victims of the mass shooting that took place at the annual Garlic Festival. Local leaders spoke to those gathered.
There will be a day when we start to heal and start to move on with our lives. And the reason for that is because we cannot let the bastard that did this tear us down.
Together, we are stronger than anything that tries to divide us. We are Gilroy Strong! We are Gilroy Strong!
As the community continues to rally, investigators are working to uncover what happened and why. Here's NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
The band was playing its final song when gunfire began. Chaos and carnage at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. The teenage gunmen unloading round after round.
This is crazy.
Families ran for their lives.
He just rose his gun up and started spraying out rounds all around.
Killing 3 people and wounding a dozen more. Witnesses say the suspect shot at random, spraying the crowd with some 60 shots from an AK-47 style rifle.
It was a shooting. If we would have screamed, he could have turned and shot us.
Within a minute, 3 officers arrived, killing the suspect, now identified as Santino Lagan, the 19-year-old wearing tactical gear, bypassed security by cutting through a fence, never uttering a word, say witnesses, as he reloaded halfway through the shooting.
Had your officers not acted quicker, would there have been more bloodshed?
There absolutely would have been more bloodshed.
Are we going to be able to drive out of here?
During the scramble to escape, some were trampled as the critically wounded were rushed to local hospitals. Among the dead, 13-year-old Kayla Salazar, 25-year-old Trevor Irby, who studied biology, and 6-year-old Stephen Romero, who was shot in the back. His mother and grandmother also wounded by gunfire. His father at home when he got the news.
He was more of a friend to me than a son, who I will miss forever.
After early reports of a second possible gunman, a massive manhunt was launched, but the dragnet came to a close with no arrests.
Anytime a life is lost, it's a tragedy. But when it's young people, it's even worse.
Not releasing a motive, police are puzzled by the gunman. Why would the teenager open fire? A killing spree that took 3 lives, including a little boy who was gunned down while celebrating at a festival with his family. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Gilroy, California. I'm Gotti Schwartz in Gilroy, where bags of evidence were seized along with a tactical rifle case. Pulled from the family home of 19-year-old Santino William Legan, less than a mile away from where police say he opened fire on a crowd of people.
Our preeminent and principal concern at this point is motivation, ideological leanings. Was he affiliated with anyone or any group?
In a post from his now deleted Instagram profile, the shooter mentioning a book advocating racism, sexism, and dominance through violence. Also posting a photo of the Garlic Festival saying, "Come get wasted on overpriced expletive." To avoid security and metal detectors, the suspect found a back way into the festival. Authorities say the shooter knew security was going to be tight. This right here is the creek that's in between the shooter's family home and the Garlic Festival on the other side. Investigators say he cut through a fence wearing camouflage. Those who saw him open fire describe him as eerily subdued.
He looked like he was calm as could be. It didn't look like he was nervous or anything about what he was doing.
Investigators say the AK-47 style rifle used in the attack was bought last month legally in Nevada. Ahead of the festival, authorities in Gilroy tried hardening security through fencing, bag searches, and a heavy police presence. But security experts describe festivals like this one and the concert in Las Vegas where 58 people were killed as soft targets, public spaces where thousands gather and perimeters are difficult to secure.
Folks running events around the country will look at this and say, can we do anything? But at the end of the day, you have thousands of people coming in and it's a challenge.
Now more questions over whether any public gathering is safe. And again, Philip, police reiterating that they responded with gunfire, killing that suspect within a minute into that attack, even though they only had their sidearms and they were outgunned. Now, some members in this community are wondering what they're going to do to increase security next year, hoping that the Garlic Festival will be back as it's been here for 40 years now in this community, and vowing not to let fear win. Philip, back to you.
All right, Gotti, thank you. Turning to weather now, summer storms have brought some wicked weather to Colorado. The person who shared this video said it looked like a monsoon or hurricane had rolled through town. Not only were they hammered by the wind and rain, but also some pea-sized hail.
Right, other parts of the country are dealing with some major heat. Let's check in with NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns. Good morning, Bill.
Well, good morning. Yeah, last day of the heat wave in areas of the Northeast. 29 million people under heat advisories. No heat warnings. The humidity's high, but it's not or two ago. It's going to feel like mostly 90 to about 100 degrees in most areas. The heat index today in New York City will be 96. Boston could be one of the highest heat indices, around 97 degrees. Even northern Vermont will feel like 94. This cold front will cool some people off today in the Ohio Valley and also through the Great Lakes. Behind the front, temperatures kind of back to normal, although Chicago's gorgeous today at 78. And still on Wednesday, still a humid air mass, but the showers and clouds and thunderstorms will keep temperatures down a little bit in the areas right along the East Coast. It's not until late in the week that we'll see the humidity levels dropping and the temperatures returning to normal in areas like D.C., Boston, Philadelphia, and New York. That's a look at the big weather story of the day. Now here's a closer look at your day. Well, the other area that's very hot today, check out Salt Lake City. Forecast high of 100 degrees today. Denver will also be in the mid to upper 90s. There's your showers and thunderstorm threat today from Kentucky through Ohio, right through western New York. Let's look at your Tuesday forecast.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. In today's quick hits, a freak highway crash in New Jersey left one of the vehicles doing that, standing upright. The accident shut down southbound lanes on the Garden State Parkway. Police say there were no serious injuries.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed a bill Monday that decriminalizes the use of marijuana and reduces possession to a misdemeanor. Last year, Cuomo said legalizing recreational pot was a top priority for 2019.
Kellogg is unleashing a new cereal inspired by the insanely popular and annoying to some, a sung Baby Shark. The cereal appears to be similar to Fruit Loops and will be available at Sam's Club in August and Walmart in September. We'll be right back. Going down the only road. about Apple and how it might be using Siri to eavesdrop on your private conversations. NBC's Jolene Kent investigates.
Apple is defending Siri.
Hey Siri.
As its popular voice assistant on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch faces new criticism. An anonymous whistleblower told the Guardian newspaper that human contractors can sometimes listen to what Siri hears. Among the chatter, confidential medical conversations, drug deals, and even intimate moments, according to the whistleblower. NBC News has not confirmed the whistleblower's story. But Apple did not deny the allegation, telling us it uses the recordings to make Siri work better, adding only a very small random subset, less than 1% of daily Siri utterances are used to improve Siri and dictation. But with 15 billion Siri commands made every month, tens of millions could be listened to. Apple responded saying Siri recordings are not attached to your Apple username or other identifying information, adding that all reviewers are under the obligation to adhere to Apple's strict confidentiality requirements. Apple frequently touts that it prioritizes privacy.
Privacy to us is a human right. These technologies are really reliant on, human review and continual sort of process to make the technology better.
Apple's head of privacy emphasizes to me that it's only trying to improve its technology. To opt out, turn Siri off. In settings, tap Siri and search, and turn both of these toggles off.
Right, that was Jolene Kent reporting.
Just ahead, the hot new way to cool off this summer, and nobody can resist eating a fry or two when you're in the car. Not even the delivery driver. The shocking amount of deliverers who admitted to taking a bite out of your order. Oh boy. You're watching early today.
Dealing with psoriatic arthritis pain was so frustrating.
My skin?
Is your motor vehicle accident. That person ought to be held liable for the consequences. Call 222-HURT. Let Thorson, Spatala, Mondock, and Steed represent you. We're big enough to win, small enough to care.
Well, this is trending this morning, and it's kind of disturbing, especially if you use those popular food delivery apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. A new study is revealing that unsettling data when it comes to both ordering and delivering meals. 1 in 4 admit to tasting your food before delivering it, and 54% considered taking a taste after smelling the order. It was conducted by U.S. Food, and it found that out of nearly 500 delivery workers surveyed, the survey looked at over 1,500 adults.
I mean, the smelling the order is not the problem, clearly.
No, it's getting in there and just opening it up and with their hands.
Grinding fingers, opening up doors around the city.
The whole
Just think
thing.
about what's going on
It's a
there.
violation, man.
It's a true
Full-on
violation.
violation.
And you would think more people would notice that's happening unless it is just like French fries.
Right, a fry here and there.
All right, there's wearable air conditioning. That sounds cool, right? Something like out of science fiction, but Sony is bringing it into reality with their Reon Pocket. It is a portable AC unit that you wear inside your clothes. The device is reportedly silent and can lower your body temperature by 23 degrees. Quite a bit. It's set for a March 2020 release in Japan, and then hopefully it will come to the US soon after. With these temperatures that we're feeling, we can see how genius of an idea that would be.
And genius sounds are expensive too. When we come out with a price tag, we'll see how much that'll cost.
I guess better than heat stroke.
That's true. So ahead, Lil Nas X notches another Billboard record plus. Katy Perry loses a copyright battle over her popular song Dark Horse. You're watching early today.
I didn't have to shout out for help. I didn't have to get you a lift.
And I didn't have to call your wife to meet you at the doctor. Because you didn't have another DVT. Not today. We discussed how having one blood clot puts you at risk of having another, so we chose Xarelto to help keep you protected.
Xarelto is proven to treat and reduce the risk of DVT or PE blood clots from happening again. In clinical trials, almost 98% of people did not have another DVT or PE. Don't stop taking Xarelto without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of blood clots. While taking a spinal injection increases the risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. You may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Xarelto can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. It may increase your risk of bleeding if you take certain medicines. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. Do not take Xarelto if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. Before starting, tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures and any kidney or liver problems. Enjoy every moment and help protect yourself from an unexpected one, like another DVT or PE. Are you doing enough? Ask your doctor about Xarelto. To learn more about cost and how Janssen can help, visit Xarelto.com.
It's a brand new morning for breakfast with the Jimmy Dean Delights breadless egg-wich. We got rid of the bread and replaced it with 2 egg frittatas. For a protein-packed start to your day.
And that is something else. Kind of makes you hungry, don't it?
Just between us, cleaning with a mopping bucket is such a hassle. Well, I switched to Swiffer WetJet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one that absorbs dirt and grime deep inside, and it helps prevent streaks and haze. Stop cleaning. Let's Swiffer it. This summer at Panera, we're going all in on strawberries. At Best, Ripest, they make everything better, like our strawberry poppy seed salad and new strawberry summer caprese salad. Order online for delivery. Panera, food as it should be.
Don't you get the best price booking at one of those travel sites? They tell you that, but when you book at Hilton.com, you get the price match guarantee. So if you find your room at a lower rate, Hilton is like, we're going to match that rate and give you an extra 25% off. What would travel sites do if found a better price? That's not my problem. It's your problem. Get out of here. Wow, I really felt that performance. Just acting. I'm really good at it. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton price match guarantee. If you find a lower rate, we match it and give you 25% off that stay.
Welcome back to Early Today. Happy to report that tropical wave south of Puerto Rico showing no signs of development. Hurricane centers even dropped the odds, only down to 10% development in the next 5 days. If it did develop, it is going to head generally towards the Bahamas or towards South Florida as we head towards the upcoming weekend. It will increase the rain chances. That'll probably be the only impacts. Forecast today, beautiful weather. There's some gorgeous stuff. We're hot and humid in the Northeast. Let's talk about the nice stuff in the Great Lakes.
That's good for that. All right. Thank you so much. Just ahead, Katy Perry's Dark Horse controversy and 2 shark hits 100 miles apart and the guy who fought one off.
Introducing the Unlimited Cashback Bank Account by Green Dot Bank. With one of the richest cashback Visa debit cards in America, Green Dot pays you an unlimited 3% cashback bonus when you make online in-app purchases.
Wait, what?
Uber?
Amazon? Walmart.com? I can't believe a bank would do that.
Believe it. Plus, the Unlimited app comes with a Green Dot Bank savings account that pays a 3% annual interest rate. Open your account at greendot.com and get a $50 cashback bonus. Spend like normal. Save up like crazy. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Finally, an egg of thick and fluffy waffle.
So, whoa. Karen, you gotta try this. Breakfast in bed? Major husband points.
Would you Lego your ego?
Good evening, everyone. Breaking news tonight. Lester Holt. Are you afraid Ron is playing with fire? What's it like to see them here celebrating his heroes?
This is what it means to be American.
Got a lot of great, most trusted TV news anchor in America. That's Nightly News. I'm Lester Holt.
In Florida, beachgoers are on high alert after two separate shark attacks along the coastline.
NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is at Jacksonville Beach with more on how to protect yourself.
Pro surfer Franklin O'Rourke is recovering after the scare of his life.
I've never felt force like that from any animal, anything in my life. So I was in shock.
This video shows him and other surfers in the water off Jacksonville Beach over the weekend, struggling with what he now thinks was a black-tip shark.
I've never seen one that close and in that kind of aggression. You know, it was coming at me, not around me. I was scared for sure.
He had a really high energy level. You could tell.
Lieutenant Eli Phillips was one of the first responders at the
He
scene.
was saying he kind of didn't even realize what was happening while he was actually getting bit by it. And then afterwards, he was like, oh, wow, I just got bit by a shark.
100 miles down the coast, a boogie boarder was also bitten by a shark. He wasn't badly hurt either. Farther south this month in Cocoa Beach and Daytona Beach, other sightings. Experts say to avoid sharks, swim in groups. Don't wear shiny jewelry. And if you find yourself being attacked, don't play dead. Fight back. Back in Jacksonville, O'Rourke says the scare won't keep him from the water.
I'm still living. I'm still here.
O'Rourke knows how lucky he is. He says right after the attack on these waters, he went right out and he bought a lottery ticket. He figured that if he could survive a close encounter with a shark, the odds must be in his favor.
It's not bad reasoning there.
Yeah, thanks to Gabe Gutierrez for that report.
A jury has ruled against Katy Perry, determining that these two songs here are too similar.
Hello?
Hello?
Let's talk about it.
How long you had this phone?
Quite a few years.
I kind of hear
Oh, you just got it?
Perry seems to hate it.
Okay, well, sorry. Yeah, somebody else had it for you.
They created Dark Horse, but
You're welcome. Sorry. Bye-bye.
the underlying beat was copied. And now the penalty phase of the trial begins today. So they're going to figure out now how much Katy Perry owes them for that.
Yeah, and how much she actually knew about it. Maybe wouldn't have been one of her producers, you know,
Something. She's got to pay it.
along the line. Yeah. Well, it looks like Little Nas X has ridden his horse right into music history. The rapper's viral song, Old Town Road, has become the longest running #1 song to ever top the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The song has spent 17 weeks in the top spot. It beat out Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men One Sweet Day. They set that record back in 1996. Mariah tweeted Little Nas congratulations, adding, "Keep living your best life." The rapper also thanked fans in a video. He has everybody to thank when it comes to all the remixes. You know, member of BTS, also Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, I can't believe how popular that song is.
It is the songest ever.
Forevermore. Thanks for watching Early Today. Keep it right here. More news is straight ahead.
This morning on Today, the U.S. Olympic Committee, USA Gymnastics, and the FBI under pressure after a major new investigation by suspicious of fatal gambling and the new plans to protect them. This morning, only on Today.
In an unsolved murder, did an assault could not lead Kathy into a mystic hunt to find the killer.
Time speaks to betrayal, even death.
In between, Wednesday on NBC.
We hold the family's future in our hands.
I've been fighting these companies my whole life. What they count on is fear.
How do you handle the pressure, Dad? When winning or losing means everything.
You're one of the best legal minds I've known. You get back in the fight because the world's running out of heroes.
I will find him justice.
We can change the world. Bluff City Law, Mondays this fall on NBC.
The investigation into the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting is gaining new details as we learn more about the innocent victims, including a 6-year-old boy.
Privacy at risk. Capital One Bank reveals a data breach involving 100 million people. This is we also learned from a whistleblower that Apple Siri isn't the only one listening when we talk.
President Trump met with religious leaders after taking aim at Baltimore Congressman Elijah Cummings and Reverend Al Sharpton.
The latest scam in college admissions and financial aid involves parents giving up their kids' guardianships while in high school.
And get ready for hands-free swiping on your phone. And it's all about the motion. Early today starts right now.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Francis Rivera.
And I'm Philip Mena. The community of Gilroy, California is searching for answers this morning. This video here shows the moment people dove for cover on Sunday as gunfire erupted at the annual Garlic Festival, a major event that is a point of pride for the city. The local leaders gathered at an impromptu vigil where they vowed to stay strong in the face of violence.
We cannot let the bastard that did this tear us down. We are that shining light. We are like that Statue of Liberty, but instead of holding the flame, we're probably holding a garlic.
We are Gilroy Strong! We are Gilroy Strong!
While the town rallies, officials are working to get to the bottom of how and why this tragedy happened. Here's NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
The band was playing its final song when gunfire began. Chaos and carnage at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. The teenage gunmen unloading round after round.
This is crazy.
Families ran for their lives.
He just rose his gun up and started spraying out rounds all around.
Killing 3 people and wounding a dozen more. Witnesses say the suspect shot at random, spraying the crowd with some 60 shots with an AK-47 style rifle.
It was a shooting. If we would have screamed, he could have turned and shot us.
Within a minute, 3 officers arrived, killing the suspect, now identified as Santino Lagan. The 19-year-old, wearing tactical gear, bypassed security by cutting through a fence, never uttering a word, say witnesses, as he reloaded halfway through the shooting.
Had your officers not acted quicker, would there have been more bloodshed?
There absolutely would have been more bloodshed.
Are we going to be able to drive out of here?
During the scramble to escape, some were trampled as the critically wounded were rushed to local hospitals. Among the dead, 13-year-old Kayla Salazar, 25-year-old Trevor Irby, who studied biology, and 6-year-old Stephen Romero, who was shot in the back. His mother and grandmother also wounded by gunfire. His father at home when he got the news.
He was more of a friend to me than a son, who I will miss forever.
After early reports of a second possible gunman, a massive manhunt was launched, but the dragnet came to a close with no arrests. Anytime a life is lost, it's a tragedy. But when it's young people, it's even worse. Not releasing a motive, police are puzzled by the gunman. Why would the teenager open fire? A killing spree that took 3 lives, including a little boy who was gunned down while celebrating at a festival with his family. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Gilroy, California. I'm Gotti Schwartz in Gilroy, where bags of evidence were seized along with a tactical rifle case. Pulled from the family home of 19-year-old Santino William Lagan, less than a mile away from where police say he opened fire on a crowd of people.
Our preeminent and principal concern at this point is motivation, ideological leanings. Was he affiliated with anyone or any group?
In a post from his now deleted Instagram profile, the shooter mentioning a book advocating racism, sexism, and dominance through violence. Also posting a photo of the Garlic Festival saying, "Come get wasted on overpriced expletive." To avoid security and metal detectors, the suspect found a back way into the festival. Authorities say the shooter knew security was going to be tight. This right here is the creek that runs in between the shooter's family home and the Garlic Festival on the other side. Investigators say he cut through a fence wearing camouflage. Those who saw him open fire describe him as eerily subdued.
He looked like he was calm as could be. It didn't look like he was nervous or anything about what he was doing.
Investigators say the AK-47 style rifle used in the attack was bought last month legally in Nevada. Ahead of the festival, authorities in Gilroy tried hardening security through fencing, bag searches, and a heavy police presence. But security experts describe festivals like this one and the concert in Las Vegas where 58 people were killed as soft targets, public spaces where thousands gather and perimeters are difficult to secure.
Folks running events around the country will look at this and say, can we do anything? But at the end of the day, you have thousands of people coming in and it's a challenge.
Now more questions over whether any public gathering is safe. And again, Philip, police reiterating that they responded with gunfire, killing that suspect within a minute into that attack, even though they only had their sidearms and they were outgunned. Now, some members in this community are wondering what they're going to do to increase security next year, hoping that the Garlic Festival will be back as it's been here for 40 years now in this community, and vowing not to let fear win. Philip, back to you.
All right, Gotti, thank you.
Breaking news, a massive Capital One data breach has put over 100 million customers at risk this morning. The bank insists that credit card account numbers and login credentials are safe, but the breach exposed other information like card applicant names, addresses, birth dates, and credit history. NBC's Tracy Potts joins us from DC with the latest. So, Tracy, the FBI has also made an arrest in this case.
Already, Francis, 33-year-old Paige Thompson, a former software engineer from the Seattle area, believed to be behind this breach, to have hacked the security and gotten this information and posted it on an information sharing website. They also believe that she's behind a message from a few weeks ago alerting Capital One to the breach, to the information that had been taken. Authorities have searched her home. They found devices that they believe contain some of this information. As you said, it affects more than 100 million people, that many in the U.S., plus 6 million in Canada. Social security numbers, addresses, names, all believed to be at risk. Social security numbers for 140,000 people of the millions whose information was breached. Now the company is talking about what happens next. In a statement, the company says that they've notified people who've been affected. They're going to make free credit monitoring and identity protection available. Bottom line, if you're a Capital One customer, you should know by now if you are one of the 100 million impacted by this, and if so, protect your accounts. Francis?
All right, good advice. Good reminder, Tracy. Thank you.
Now, speaking of privacy concerns, I mean, if you've ever used Siri to ask a question, you may be one of millions at risk. Apple is facing growing criticism over how it may be using Siri to eavesdrop on your private conversations. Our Jolene Kent investigates.
Apple is defending Siri.
Hey Siri.
As its popular voice assistant on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch faces new criticism. An anonymous whistleblower told The Guardian newspaper that human contractors can sometimes listen to what Siri hears. Among the chatter, confidential medical conversations, drug deals, and even intimate moments, according to the whistleblower. NBC News has not confirmed the whistleblower's story. But Apple did not deny the allegation, telling us it uses the recordings to make Siri work better, adding only a very small random subset, less than 1% of daily Siri utterances are used to improve Siri and dictation. But with 15 billion Siri commands made every month, tens of millions could be listened to. Apple responded, saying Siri recordings are not attached to your Apple username or other identifying information, adding that all reviewers are under the obligation to adhere to Apple's strict confidentiality requirements. Apple frequently touts that it prioritizes privacy.
Privacy to us is a human right. These technologies are really reliant on, human review and continual sort of process to make the technology better.
Apple's head of privacy emphasizes to me that it's only trying to improve its technology. To opt out, turn Siri off. In settings, tap Siri and search, and turn both of these toggles off.
All right, Jolene Kent, thank you.
The Army is mourning the death of 2 U.S. service members killed during combat in Afghanistan. It happened in Kandahar. Military officials say an Afghan soldier opened fire on American troops, killing 2. The gunman was shot and is in custody. The 2 soldiers were paratroopers of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. Their names have not been released. This comes hours after Mike Pompeo announced a reduction in the number of American troops in Afghanistan.
Summer storms brought some wicked weather to Colorado. The person who shared this video here with us said that they were being pelted by pea-sized hail. You can see that they're also being whipped by strong winds and torrential rain.
Let's see what's in store for the rest of the week. Here's NBC meteorologist Bill Karen. A lot of us really in the grips of major heat.
Yeah, and even on the dangerous side, too, in the Northeast today. That's why the National Weather Service has included 29 million people in heat advisories. No warnings. The heat index will be mostly 95 to 100 in the worst case. how the animals and to get to those heat warning categories. And right now, if you walk outside, it feels like 84 degrees in New York City. It still feels like 87 in Houston. So New York City feels a lot like some of the warmest cities in our country this morning. And that's because of the high humidity levels and the urban heat island effect. Kind of the pavement really holds the heat in. So this cold front is what will cool people off eventually. Today goes to the Ohio Valley with showers and storms. In the Northeast, you have to wait till Wednesday afternoon. Those showers and thunderstorms will cool you off and also bring in some gorgeous air by the end of the week. That's a look at the big weather story of the day. Now here's a closer look at your day ahead. So the other hot spot today is going to be Colorado and Utah and Idaho. Boise 96, Salt Lake City 100, Denver 96 today. And there's that heat right up the East Coast. 94 today for Philadelphia. It does cool off as we head through the end of the week, but we still have to watch the tropics. Details ahead. All right, thank you, Bill.
Still ahead, a second bison attack in a week raises new safety questions about our national parks. But first, President Trump versus Baltimore. Why he's still not backing down on his criticism of the city and one of its congressmen.
Barb, you left me hanging on the high harmony there.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Alice loves the scent of Gain so much. She wished they came in a fabric softener too. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice. Oh, and look, they've got Gain scent beads and dryer sheets too.
Finally, been able to pick and fluffy waffle all to myself. Whoa. Karen, you gotta try this. Breakfast in bed, major husband points.
Would you let go your ego?
Only Tylenol rapid release gels have laser drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. Tylenol.
When it comes to food for your best friend, there's good, there's better, and then there's Blue Buffalo. Blue is made with wholesome ingredients, and real meat is always first. If you love them like family, feed them like family with Blue.
Walgreens, save your skin today. All sun care products are now buy one, get one 50% off.
Leading the news, President Trump is stoking the flames in his feud with Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings, while critics have denounced his comments as racist. The president doubled down in a series of new tweets overnight, first writing, Elijah Cummings never even went to the southern border, and then he screams at the very good people who make it work. Then he once again went after Baltimore, claiming its numbers are the worst on crime and the economy, saying, quote, billions of dollars have been pumped over the years, but to no avail. The money was stolen or wasted. Ask Elijah Cummings where it went. He should investigate himself with the Oversight Committee. Let's turn now to NBC's Hallie Jackson, who has more.
The president touting by tweet a private meeting with inner city pastors after his public attacks on the city, calling it a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess, and blasting congressman who represents part of the city, Elijah Cummings. One attendee was asked whether he thinks the president's racist.
I find it hard to believe. When you consider the things that have been done for the black community.
You believe today was an attempted damage control by President Trump?
No, I don't.
Congressman Cummings, in a moment that apparently caught the president's attention, recently slammed the acting Homeland Security Secretary over conditions at the border.
What does that mean when a child is sitting in their own feces? Can't take a shower. Come on, man.
Now, in a series of at least 20 tweets, the president attacking not just the African-American lawmaker and the majority African-American city, but the African-American civil rights activist Al Sharpton, who criticized the president's remarks, describing Sharpton as a con man and troublemaker.
Well, yeah, I am a troublemaker. I intend to make trouble every time racists and bigots move around in any way, shape, or form.
president. The president's defenders insist he's not racially motivated, but fighting back against a congressional antagonist. On the campaign trail, then candidate Trump looked for from urban communities of color, promising to help.
What the hell do you have to lose?
But some in Baltimore suggest he hasn't stepped up. NBC's Rahema Ellis is there.
What do you think about the president's tweet?
The president's tweet? I think it was idiotic. I think it was hurtful. I think it was bigoted.
I think he is a racist. Not only his tweet, but I think he has some issues as it relates to diversity.
And Francis, House Republicans have long been set to hold their annual retreat in Baltimore this year. That's coming up in September. Keep in mind, the sitting president typically goes and speaks at that retreat, which means this may not be the last time we hear about the president and the city. Francis, back.
Thank you.
Just ahead, is the secret to affordable college disowning your kids? The surprising loophole uncovered, and how Google's new phone is taking hands-free to the extreme. CNBC's Steve Sedgwick has all that and more for us next on Early Today.
Dealing with psoriatic arthritis pain was so frustrating.
My skin, it was embarrassing.
My joints, they hurt.
The pain and swelling.
The tenderness.
The psoriasis.
I had to find something that worked on all of this.
I found Cosentix. Now, watch me.
Real people with psoriatic arthritis get real relief with Cosentix. It's a different kind of targeted biologic. Cosentix treats more than just the joint pain of psoriatic arthritis. It even helps stop further joint damage. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
I got real relief.
I got clear skin and feel better.
Now, watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentix.
Lactate is 100% real milk, just without the lactose, so you can enjoy it even if you're sensitive. Yet some people say lactate isn't real milk. I guess all those cows must actually be big dogs. Sit. I said sit.
My teeth have been feeling really sensitive lately. Well, 80% of sensitivity starts at the gum line. So treat sensitivity at the source. New Crest Gum and Sensitivity starts treating sensitivity immediately at the gum line for relief within days and wraps your teeth in sensitivity protection. Crest.
It can't be. I'm not ready. I do feel the refrigerator. Oh, come on. Do you know how much this cost me? You're killing me. Let me rephrase that.
Your refrigerator, air conditioner, water heater will all die sometime. When they do, your homeowner's insurance won't cover them. Be sure your budget is protected with an American Home Shield home warranty. We help cover the cost to repair or replace components of your systems and appliances, no matter their age. Limitations and exclusions apply. Home systems and appliances will eventually die. Count on American Home Shield to get you back up and running.
Oh, air conditioner too?
Be sure your budget's protected. For free information, call 1-800-710-0536. That's 1-800-710-0536. Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield.
Police in Missouri are on the hunt for 3 men who went on a shooting spree in broad daylight. A dramatic gunfight was captured on surveillance video. It happened right next to a public park that was full of kids. The video shows the suspects opening fire at a white pickup truck. The gunfire scattered people. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Authorities are hoping the video will help identify the suspects.
This might just be the most devious loophole to date for often wealthy parents who are seeking college aid for their kids. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, CNBC's Steve Sedgwick has a look at what's moving markets this morning. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Philip. I've got an eclectic mix for you today. Good morning, Francis, by the way. Yes, first of all, the markets, they're called flat at the moment, looking at the pre-futures of the market. But we've got a Fed meeting. Tomorrow will be the interest rate decision there. We've got Apple reporting. We've got MasterCard. We've got Under Armour. Huge number of S&P companies reporting, plus personal consumer spending figures and pending home sales as well. It's going to be a blockbuster session on Wall Street. Meanwhile, Google just teasing people with a brief video clip on Monday at their new Pixel 4 phone. Apparently, it's going to have a similar Face ID unlocking characteristic as well, but also a motion sensor where you can swipe in the air to skip songs on the app. We expect this phone to be available in October. Now, back to that story you mentioned, Philip, as well. Wealthy parents, apparently, in the Chicago area, the education department is looking into these wealthy parents because they are, wait for it, transferring guardianship of their teens in order to get some form of financial aid for when they go on to university. I mean, quite extraordinary as well, and it comes on the back of the Varsity Blues national college scandal over admissions that we saw earlier on in the year as well. I mean, look, I've got three. I'll put my hands up. 3 kids. I'm going to run the idea past my wife when I get home. I'm not sure how it will fly, to be honest.
Yeah, we could always rerun this tape to kind of,
Right. But like I say,
tell the authorities that
it speaks to just how expensive it is for higher education. That they resort to these shady tactics.
And those are rich parents to begin with.
Yeah,
They're doing
right.
it. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, still ahead. An officer's close call with a moose and a cat, plus another terrifying bison attack in a national park. We'll hear from the team who survived it. You're watching early today.
Shout out for help. I didn't have to get you a lift.
And I didn't have to call your wife to meet you at the doctor. Because you didn't have another DVT. Not today. We discussed how having one blood clot puts you at risk of having another. So we chose Xarelto to help keep you protected.
Xarelto is proven to treat and reduce the risk of DVT or PE blood clots from happening again. In clinical trials, almost 98% of people did not have another DVT or PE. Don't stop taking Xarelto without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of blood clots. While taking, a spinal injection increases the risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. You may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Xarelto can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. It may increase your risk of bleeding if you take certain medicines. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. Do not take Xarelto if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. Before starting, tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures and any kidney or liver problems. Enjoy every moment and help protect yourself from an unexpected one, like another DVT or PE. Are you doing enough? Ask your doctor about Xarelto. To learn more about cost and how Janssen can help, visit Xarelto.com.
It's a brand new morning for breakfast with the Jimmy Dean Delight breadless egg dish. We got rid of the bread and replaced it with 2 egg frittatas. For a protein pack, start to your day.
And that is something else. Kind of makes you hungry, don't it?
Cleaning with a mopping bucket is such a hassle. Well, I switched to Swiffer WetJet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one that absorbs dirt and grime deep inside, and it prevents streaks and haze. Stop cleaning. Get Swiffer it.
This summer at Panera, we're going all in on strawberries. At their reddest, ripest, they make everything better, like our strawberry poppy seed salad and new strawberry summer caprese salad. Order online for delivery. Panera, food as it should be.
Don't you get the best price booking at one of those travel sites? They tell you that, but when you book at Hilton.com, you get the price match guarantee. So if you find your room at a lower rate, Hilton is like, we're going to match that rate and give you an extra 25% off. What would travel sites do if you found a better price? That's not my problem. It's your problem. Get out of here. Wow, I really felt that performance. It's just acting. I'm really good at it. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton price match guarantee. If you find a lower rate, we match it and give you 25% off that stay.
Welcome back. Still watching that tropical wave near Puerto Rico. No signs of development. Hurricane Center only says a 10% chance now in the next 5 days. So Florida and the Bahamas, increased rain chances towards the weekend, but development's looking pretty unlikely at this time. The other story, of course, is the heat. The hot, humid conditions will be with us in the Northeast. These are the heat index values, 95 to about 100 in all the big cities from D.C. all the way through New York and Boston. This cold front will be the one that cools people off. It'll feel gorgeous today. Chicago, 78 degrees. Actually, that's for tomorrow. Today will feel the upper 70s too. In Cleveland, will feel very nice too once we get rid of these clouds and showers this morning. So there's relief on the way from the Northeast. Got to wait till Thursday.
All right. Fingers crossed. Thanks. So, just to have the mustachioed puppy that is melting a lot of hearts this morning.
Introducing the Unlimited Cashback Bank Account by Green Dot Bank with one of the richest cashback Visa debit cards in America. Green Dot pays you an unlimited 3% cashback bonus when you make online and in-app purchases.
Wait, what?
Uber?
Amazon? Walmart.com? I can't believe a bank would do that.
Believe it. Plus, the Unlimited app comes with a Green Dot Bank savings account that pays a 3% annual interest rate. Open your account at greendot.com and get a $50 cashback bonus. Spend like normal. Save up like crazy. Hurry, offer ends soon.
I'm out of pocket. LifeLock with Norton is the only identity theft protection that gives you the power of Norton security with technology to help shield up to 5 of your devices. Every LifeLock with Norton annual membership comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Experience our protection for yourself. And if you're not completely satisfied, cancel within 60 days for a full refund. And listen to this. For extra security at home, use promo code MyOffer, and you'll get this document shredder, a $29 value. It's free with your annual membership, but only when you use promo code MyOffer. Your identity and protecting what's yours matters. So don't wait until it's too late. Join in minutes.
I trust LifeLock because I know that the issue is going to start to be taken care of. I got plenty of other things to worry about. I don't need to worry about that.
LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection. Call 1-800-948-6903. That's 1-800-948-6903. Or visit LifeLockOffer.com. Get LifeLock's 60-day money-back guarantee and use promo code MyOffer to get a free shredder with annual membership. Become a LifeLock member today. Call right now. The proceeding was a paid presentation for LifeLock with Norton, paid for by Symantec.
Showers there. You see the lightning bolts right here. That's indicative of we got thunderstorms in there. And that's moving just to the east. So places like Camden and Eaton and Oxford and Arcanum and Greenville, just a heads up to you, probably this is a slow mover. This has been going on really for probably last hour and a half or so. This is going to come through probably within the next half hour. It's going to move very slowly. So just a heads up that we could get a lot of rainfall out of this because it's moving so slowly here just in time for your early morning commute. 67 degrees in Troy. Good morning to you. 68 as we head over towards Greenville. 70 in Wapakoneta. So it is warm and muggy out there. 70 in Wilmington over towards Springboro, about 73. And then right where we're seeing the rain cool air coming in, 68. Winchester, 66 in Richmond, and into Liberty. Again, if you're traveling right along 70 going into Indiana, you're going to run head on into the rain and thunderstorms. We're seeing some patchy fog this morning, at least some lowering visibilities anyway, towards Wapakoneta and Sydney and Troy and Dayton. We're seeing some lowering visibility. So we'll have to watch for that in addition to any of the rainfall that we've got coming in for the morning. It could be a pretty messy morning commute at times. So we'll track it for you. A few scattered showers and storms throughout the day today. Even for the morning time, we're looking at scattered showers, some embedded thunderstorms, and some heavy rain at times for the morning commute. That sticks around on and off again for lunchtime, and then for the middle part of the afternoon into the evening. We'll get to the lower 80s. It's not going to be as warm because we got all the clouds and the rain around, and the embedded thunderstorms could drop some heavy rainfall at times. That'll continue right on into prime time as well. So 7, 8, 9 o'clock. We really don't shake this until we get into, let's say, maybe 8, 9 o'clock into the evening time, probably maybe 10 o'clock or so. We'll finally shake the shower threat and we'll dry out as we head into the overnight hours. So it'll be a little drier tomorrow as well. I have a full check of the forecast for you coming up in the next few minutes. First, let's get a check of our news headlines.
Dante, thank you. We do want to give you a look outside. Speaking of your morning commute and weather, I-70 and I-75, all is calm at the moment. You will find some wet roads, as Dante was just mentioning. Also, we'll check in with Sergeant Mark here in about 30 minutes. Keep a close eye on your morning commute. Officials in Butler County say they've now found mosquitoes infected with West Nile. Madison Township officials say the infected bugs were in the Madison Township Community Park Pond. News Center 7's Kayla Cravell is heading to that park as we speak. She'll join us live in about 30 minutes with an update on all the locations in the Miami Valley where health officials have found mosquitoes with West Nile. And today, as you plan to head outside, West Nile should not be your only concern. You also want to track those rain showers that we're expecting, and Dante was just speaking about. You can do so with our free WHIO weather app. It'll allow you to track the storms with live Doppler 7 radar. Well, at 4:30, we do want to get to breaking news out of Columbus, where police are now searching for suspects after multiple people were shot at what's being called a house party. Columbus police say multiple people started showing up at different hospitals just about 4 hours ago. They say 5 people in News Center 7, of course, will bring you more information on this breaking news throughout the morning. Also this morning, News Center 7 now learning more about a 3-year-old boy from Clark County. While on vacation with his family in Florida, Hunter Wilcox died after falling on the 9th floor of a hotel room. News Center 7 Sean Cudahy reports from Midway with what he found out about Hunter and the accident.
The news has shaken this community. The family nowhere near their hometown here in Medway, but dealing with a tragic loss. This is Hunter Wilcox. His family says he loves Spider-Man and dressing up in costumes. He was supposed to be having a fun week, a vacation at the City, Florida. But just after the family arrived at their 9th floor hotel room, tragedy. Over the phone, Wilcox's grandmother described what happened as the adults were unpacking.
We wasn't here 20 minutes, and he must have slid out the door. And I think he just wanted to see the ocean. And he climbed up on the railing.
Doctors at the hospital could not save Hunter. According to a GoFundMe page created in the boy's memory, his family believes this accident could have been prevented. They question why there were no child-proof locks on a hotel room 9 stories high in the air. Wilcox's grandmother vows not to let this happen to another family.
Make sure if you go and rent a place that there's child-proof locks on the doors. And if you have little kids, don't go 9 doors up.
In a statement Monday, the hotel said in part, the loss of a child is heartbreaking, and this tragedy has devastated us all, but added it will refrain from further comment on this matter. Meantime, this family described on the page the loss of a child, the most loving, kind, helpful, playful, joyful little boy a family could ever ask for, saying, our family will be forever changed and a piece of our heart. And Panama City Police plan to release more information about this case once the investigation is over. In Midway, Sean Cudahy, News Center 7.
Absolutely heartbreaking story. All right, 4:32 in this morning. 2 of the 3 suspects charged with the murder of a Miamisburg teen are set to be arraigned. Jason Churchill and Daniel Simone were both indicted last week by the Montgomery County Grand Jury in the killing of Miamisburg High School senior Noah Kinzer. Chaz Gilliland was also indicted on a 4th suspect. Dante English was indicted last week, however, is facing lesser charges. Between the 4 suspects, there are more than 60 charges combined. Well, police say a man jumped out of his car with his girlfriend and daughter still inside seconds before that car crashed into this Middletown coffee shop. Take a look. After the crash on Central Avenue, the man ran away, however, was quickly arrested. Now, Estiara faces several charges, including domestic violence and reckless operation. The woman in the car did go to the hospital. This is how things looked when the crash happened yesterday morning. The coffee shop stayed open despite that damage, the owner said. If this had happened earlier, the car would have hit people sitting outside.
People who know something and kept it hidden, and that's extremely scary and frustrating.
It's been that way for nearly 200 days, ever since Leonid Lanya Clark disappeared. As detectives continue to work this case, News Center 7's Molly Cook took a look into the Yellow Springs man's past before mushroom hunters found his body at the Glen Helen Nature Preserve back in April.
Videos, photos, and memories explain who Leonid Lanya Clark was.
When he passed away, the outpouring was amazing.
Before he disappeared. This stands in stark contrast to his 2016 arrest.
Leonid Clark, Leonid, L-E-O-N-I-D-C-L-A-R-K. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything.
The officer involved was fired shortly after because of this arrest and one other excessive force incident. And Yellow Springs police say between 2010 and 2019, he was linked to 43 calls for service.
The majority of the problems that he had here in town were more nuisance situations that he had with the police.
Now his parents are working with the Greene County Sheriff's Office to try to solve his murder.
We didn't put any thought into the idea that that could be the last day.
His parents saw him on January 13th when he stopped by on his sister's birthday.
I'm almost 100% sure he had his black coat on.
The same black coat.
I certainly thought that was an unusual thing to see.
His dad found in late February after a windstorm knocked over some outside furniture.
It was clean, clean, clean. And I thought, well, that's unusual. In my opinion, someone put it there.
But he doesn't know who, when, or why.
There's so much I still feel like we don't know.
Just adding more questions
We still have a lot of people that know what happened
to Leonid Clark's case.
and for some reason are just afraid to say that they know it. And it's not helping at all.
Molly Kovic, News Center 7.
And detectives now telling News Center 7 they are confident there will be arrests in what they're calling a homicide case. An Urbana assisted living facility had to turn off its water after someone got Legionnaire's disease. The Champaign County Health Department said it found out about the illness at Vancrest Healthcare Center 2 weeks ago. Vancrest has since treated its water system.
Just to be safe, we're going above and beyond. And Vancrest is going above and beyond and testing the entire facility and installing filters throughout the entire facility.
Every year, about 500 people in Ohio get Legionnaire's disease. The bacteria can trigger a pneumonia-like illness and is deadly in 10% of cases. Health experts hope to get water sample test results back later this week. Controversy surrounding Welcome Stadium's turf field is coming after Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver A.J. Green hurt his foot during practice this weekend. After Green's injury, Bengals receiver Tyler Boyd and other players criticized the stadium's turf. He said there were rocks on the field. News Center 7 spoke with Dayton Public Schools athletic director. She said those rocks and the plastic pieces are what holds the field together.
That's kind of disheartening for us as a district. We are very confident that we are putting our players as well as other players on a safe playing field.
Welch also said the field gets checked every year. By the way, Bengals head coach Zach Taylor did say there were no problems with the field, and video showed Green landed weird while catching a ball, which led to his injury. DPS said it will test the field Wednesday before its home football season. Well, 437 in Fuyao, Glass America has to pay more than $720,000 in federal penalties. The U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration cited that marine plant for 9 repeated and more than a dozen serious violations. This included exposing employees to electrical safety violations, failing to install machine guards, and not providing protective equipment. OSHA inspected the plant a dozen times just in the past 4 years. Back in 2016, it cited Fuyao for nearly 24 safety violations. And last year, OSHA proposed a fine after a worker died at that plant. The company has 15 days to request a meeting with OSHA's area director or to challenge those findings. A busy Greene County road has been shut down so crews can get started on a major construction project. Crews now replacing a 60-year-old bridge on New Germany Trabine Road. They were supposed to start this last month. However, engineers decided to wait to make tornado cleanup easier for residents.
When the tornado hit, I rescheduled it because it was right near the tornado impact. So we wanted to make sure that residents in the city of Beaver Creek and Beaver Creek Township could all be able to haul easily over to the Xenia facility.
Crews are hoping to get this project all wrapped up by late next month. It is now 4:38. A routine traffic stop quickly turns into something drastic. The officer saw much more than just a traffic violation. And Vice President Mike Pence will be right here in the Buckeye State today. We'll tell you where next.
Now we got a line of rain and better thunderstorms that are starting to make their way in toward the Preble County area. I'm going to track those for you with Adam and I come right back.
Summer isn't long, but summer to-do lists are. Let a Ford F-150 help quickly turn your to-dos into ta-das. During the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford F-150s, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. It's a hit, so chill and enjoy your summer in America's best-selling trucks 42 years straight. Get in or lose out on 20% estimated savings on select Ford F-150s, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards.
It's a fair for all seasons at the 108th Greene County Fair, going on now through August 3rd. Fantastic fair food, rides, games, entertainment, and more at the Greene County Fair. Visit Greene County Fairgrounds. That's greencountyfairgrounds.com. Update your floors with Empire Today's $50 room sale. Buy one room, get floors for all other rooms for just $50 each. So when you buy one room, it's only $50 for laminate in the kitchen, $50 for carpet in the bedroom, and $50 for hardwood in the office. There's no limit. Buy one room, and it's $50 for floors in each additional room. Schedule now.
800-588-2300
Today.
No matter how much you clean, does your house still smell stuffy? That's because your home is filled with soft surfaces that trap odors and release them back into the room. So try Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze finds odors trapped in fabrics and cleans them away as it dries. Use Febreze every time you tidy up to keep your whole house smelling fresh air clean. Fabric Refresher even works for clothes you want to wear another day. Make Febreze part of your clean routine. Home freshness.
This week, save big on what your child needs for the new school year. Staples, back to school and beyond.
I'm an interior designer who really believes good design has the power to transform your life. I trust California Closets for all of my clients and my own home as well. Not only is it functional, it's absolutely beautiful. I love recommending California Closets not only to my clients, but also to my friends and family, basically anyone who I can tell. I'm Crystal, and this is my life with California Closets.
Visit a showroom or schedule your free consultation today.
Good morning.
Wake up every day with the latest news from overnight.
Here's where we stand this morning.
And what do you need to begin your day?
Breaking at this hour.
Welcome back to News Center 7's Daybreak. 442, a live look outside downtown Dayton. Off in the distance there, I-75 at Route 4. Sergeant Mark, just about 17 or 18 minutes away. Also, Storm Center 7 meteorologist Dante Jones tracking some storms moving through the Miami Valley. He'll have exactly what you need to know coming up in just a few minutes. Well, 2 Springboro police officers are now getting recognition after they saved a man's life on the side of I-75. Literally, take a look. The officer stopped this car for a traffic violation 2 weeks ago. Officers then noticed the passenger was in distress, and that's when they tried to talk to him. They say he went into cardiac arrest. Police began CPR and using a defibrillator to help that man. Then minutes later, medics arrived. That man is now recovering. Crayons to classrooms, collecting school supplies for students impacted by the Memorial Day tornadoes. More than a dozen nonprofits, churches, and organizations are coming together for that drive. They hope to collect backpacks with supplies needed for students of all ages. The drive runs through August 16th. To find out how you can donate and where you can donate, simply go to WHIO.com and click on West. Parents buying school supplies for their children, save a little money this weekend. It's all during Ohio's tax-free holiday. This is Friday through Sunday, and people will not have to pay sales tax, state sales tax on clothing items, school supplies, or school instructional materials. Now, the discount applies to clothing less than $75 and school materials less than $20. Customers who want to beat the crowds can order online and pick up in store, and they still get that tax-free item. Vice President Mike Pence will be in Lancaster today for an auto supplier's groundbreaking of a new plant. Pence will speak at the Magna Seating groundbreaking, which is one of the world's largest suppliers to the automotive industry. Then later this week, President Donald Trump and Vice President Pence will be in Cincinnati. They'll be at U.S. Bank Arena on Thursday for a rally. Tonight kicks off 2 days of debate between a giant field of Democratic presidential candidates. Correspondent Laura Podesta is in Detroit with details on what to expect.
Over the next 2 nights, 20 presidential hopefuls will be here in Detroit for the second Democratic debate. Like the last debate, the field is split into 2 groups of 10. Tonight includes Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. They'll try to balance attacking President Trump with debating the issues.
Now is the time to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program.
Donald Trump has brought us to the edge of war again in the Middle East. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, says last month's debate will shape how the candidates try to stand out in the crowd.
Voters told us that they felt
that candidates like Elizabeth Warren in particular, and also Bernie Sanders, were going to fight for people like that. Joe Biden didn't poll as well on that measure. He polled very well on being seen as electable, able to beat Donald Trump.
Voters here in Detroit also want to see how candidates take on President Trump's recent tweets attacking 4 congresswomen of color and the city of Baltimore.
He knows exactly what he's doing. It's calculated.
It's going to all come down to compassion and policy.
This may be the last chance for some candidates to see the national stage. The next debate in September has a higher polling threshold that some won't reach. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Detroit.
And WHIO Radio will be streaming those debates this evening. You can listen on AM 1290 and News 95.7 WHIO. Live coverage begins at 7 p.m. Well, 445 and staff at Miami Valley Hospital are playing a crucial role in supporting people affected by the Memorial Day outbreak. The tornadoes is what we're talking about. The staff donated to the Dayton Food Bank yesterday. They held bake sales and raffled baskets, raising $2,000. They said people immediately wanted to help and be involved.
Within an hour of the response of the tornado being announced, people were already emailing me, what can we do, what can we do? We saw people presented with heat-related illnesses, PTSD. We saw family members coming in. It was just amazing, their response.
And before yesterday's check presentation, staff members say they'd already donated supplies, including baby clothing and animal products. Well, it is 446, and really what we're all wanting to know is when is the rain going to be rolling?
Yeah.
How long will it stick around?
And unfortunately, it's going to be rolling through for the morning commute, for noontime, and a little bit for the evening commute as well. So it's just one of those days. You get a little rain, a few thunderstorms as well, and then we get some sunshine tomorrow. And right on through the rest of the work week too. So we got it all coming our way this week. It's one of those summer type of days where you gotta have a little break between the sunny stretches, and you got some clouds and some showers and the cool temperatures. And this is our day. This is our. Here looking at temperatures in the 70s and the 60s, and it looks like my computer just wants to have a mind of its own here and switch graphics. There we go. We'll scoot in here and show you live Doppler 7 showing us where the heaviest of the rain is, just around the Richmond, Indiana area. And notice that if you're traveling right along 70 here into Indiana, or right along 27 in Indiana, you're running into some of the heavier rain and those thunderstorms just off to the west there, even right around 40 in Indiana. Connorsville seeing some heavy rainfall with some thunderstorm activity, and that's all moving eastward. So a few lighter showers already encroaching on Eaton right about now, and then up towards 127 if you're traveling Darke County and Preble County. There's a batch of thunderstorms that's just off to the west there, and that's moving in this general direction. I think probably within the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to start to see the heavier rain move into that general direction. So just a heads up to you right along 127 and Preble and Darke counties. Here in Springfield, we're dry. We're looking at predominantly cloudy skies, and temperatures are warm and muggy this morning in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Visibilities are lower, so we're seeing a little bit of patchy fog as well as the rain around. So it's going to be one of those morning commutes where you just got to be vigilant. We're in the lower 80s for the afternoon. A few showers and embedded thunderstorms. Tropical tracker still looking at this system now. Only a 10% chance of development just to the south of Puerto Rico there. So it looks like it's not really going to develop at all anytime soon. There's another system with a small chance of development coming off the African coast. So the bulk of the heavy rain moving off. We got a few scattered showers and embedded thunderstorms that are rolling through here throughout the day. And maybe one or two of these storms that develop could have some heavy rain. Here's 7 o'clock into the evening. Continue to see the passing showers or storms. And then by midnight is the best chance of seeing all this move out of here. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight. We're damp. And then we're dry for the most part tomorrow with maybe a pop-up shower thunderstorm with an isolated chance for the afternoon tomorrow, but certainly drier than we are today. So you just have to use some caution here for the morning drive, for lunchtime, and even for the evening drive. So 82 today, scattered showers and storms. We're not as hot. And then we're about 63 overnight tonight, partly cloudy skies. We are drying out. 5-day forecast. It's a beaut. Lower to mid 80s with plenty of sunshine as we head Wednesday right on through the weekend.
We'll take it, Dante. Thank you. 449. A live look outside here. As you can see, the morning commute, I-75 at US 35, moving just fine, northbound and southbound again. Dante and I will keep a close eye on those showers, including Sergeant Mark Bowering, as they roll in to see how they affect your morning commute. Here's a little bit of advice as you head out the door this morning. Why not listen to AM 1290 and News 95.7 WHIO. Larry Hansgen joins us live from our radio studios with what they're working on right now. Larry.
Yeah, good morning, Adam. And we're previewing tonight's the first of the two Democratic presidential debates that will take place this week. Look at that with our Washington insider, Jamie Dupree. Also a big week ahead for us. We got our special broadcast on Thursday as we are accepting your donations for the House of Bread and its mission to feed hungry people 365 days a year. Executive Director Melody Bennett will be joining us live this morning to tell us exactly what some of the specific needs are, so you can do your shopping accordingly. That's coming up on Miami Valley's Morning News.
Looking forward to it, Larry. Thank you. 450, 70 degrees. And a data breach has put more than 100 million people's personal information at risk. The company says they're offering those affected.
Where's Danny? The 2019 Nissan Rogue with available Nissan Safety Shield 360. This is all around protection. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. For a limited time, save up to $3,000 or get a low 209 per month lease on the 2019 Rogue. Wow, that's Ensure Max Protein with high protein and 1 gram sugar. It's a sit-up banana, bend at the waist. Trying. Keep it up. You'll get there. Whoa!
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein.
Sometimes you beat the heat. 99% of the time, the heat beats you. There's a better way to cool your house this summer. Butler Heating and Air Conditioning, home of the dependables. All new design. Available third row. And intelligent voice control.
Hey, Mercedes. Change lighting to soft blue.
The all-new 2020 GLE. It's the luxury SUV, completely reimagined. Lease the GLE 350 4MATIC SUV for $699 a month at the Mercedes-Benz Summer Event, going on now through September 3rd.
At Menards, nobody beats our prices and selection, so you always save big money on home improvement. The 56-inch Bodie LED ceiling fan has a black and replica wood finish, $169.99. The 52-inch Brooklyn LED ceiling fan has a black and distressed wood finish, also $169.99. Sylvania general purpose LED bulbs last up to 15,000 hours and use 85% less energy than a 60-watt bulb. A 4-pack is $4.99. Now during Menards Red Hot Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Doctors and hospitals are there when you need them the most. Unfortunately, mistakes happen, and you could end up with a lifetime of suffering. If a doctor or hospital makes you a victim, get the tiger on your side. Call Tiger Groffman and Schultz at 1-800-INJURED today.
Welcome back. It is 4:53. Authorities say 3 middle school students could have killed their teacher when they used bananas to make her have an allergic reaction. Listen to this. According to police, the students pulled a prank on their art teacher who posted signs telling students that she is severely allergic to bananas. Security from the school says the student smeared banana on the door and then started throwing bananas at her. The teacher then went into shock in less than 15 minutes.
So she starts to change colors. They gave her one EpiPen, it wasn't working. They gave her another EpiPen. Her throat was starting to close up.
A scary situation there. All 3 of the children involved were sentenced to probation through juvenile court. In just minutes, right here on News Center 7 at 5, the city of Dayton is suing the state over red light cameras. While the city says they need them, while the state says they're unconstitutional.
Drivers, start your engines for the Dave Arbogast Race to 600. That's 600 vehicles sold in 30 days.
Flat out race to the finish with terrains for just one.
I'm out.
150 new vehicles.
As one city leader saying they should still get state funding despite operating those controversial cameras.
From WTTN, the station that's working for you, this is 2 News Today.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Thanks so much for waking up with us. You might want to dig out the umbrella today. Things are changing. I'm Lauren Wood.
I'm John. Has stayed away for a while, but back to some raindrops falling from the sky. Storm Team 2 meteorologist Jamie Chirosic has your forecast first. And I guess, Jamie, you best be ready for it at any time.
Good morning. Yeah, we had to deal with a little bit of it yesterday and through the overnight hours. Today, again, we're going to have some scattered showers and storms, a little better coverage than we saw yesterday. There's no big severe weather threat, but we could get some heavy downpours and some of those thunderstorms that roll through. You can see on Live Doppler 2 HD, we have one batch moving out of Wayne County, Indiana. That'll continue on into Preble County, Butler County, even the southern portion of Darke County, and we have a few spotty showers north impacting Mercer County. Elsewhere along 75 and points east are dry, but again, at any point today with a slow-moving cold front around, we could have a shower or thunderstorm work through the area. And we're going to be kind of in this cloud zone too, where we have numerous clouds, a few breaks of sun here and there, but overall a mostly cloudy day. And humid too, with morning temperatures near 70, at lunchtime 77, and that 5 o'clock reading pretty close to 80 degrees. So not quite as hot as the past few days. We're going to take a look at how long the rain sticks around coming up in your forecast. Right now, we'll check out the roads with time saver traffic. Here's Katie Kenny.
I look at your Dayton road maps this morning. Not a whole lot of issues to report as you do head out. It is early, so we do expect that to change as road volume starts to pick up around rush hour. But at this time, things look just fine on the roads today. Here's a live look, I-75 at Stanley Avenue. Definitely seeing a little bit picking up on the north and southbound lanes, but again, nothing is going to cause you any problems today.
All right, thank you, Katie. There will be more activity than you normally see on and near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It's all part of a week-long training session. 10 News' Kelly King is live at the base to explain the exercises with a new approach happening today. Kelly?
Well, John, you're likely to see an increased amount of emergency responders as well as hear sirens and alarms here at the base. And that's all part of the week-long training exercise. So don't be alarmed if you're in this area. Third quarter base training began Monday. It will last all week, and base personnel will be responding to a variety of mock emergency scenarios. You might remember during training last year, there was a false report of an active shooter. Now, in light of that confusion, the base says it's focusing on better communication with residents as well as informing people of what they might see throughout the week.
So there's been a considerable amount of communication taking place both at the city level, but also in direct conversations with the emergency responders, by which we do a considerable amount of mutual assistance, both from the fire and emergency services side, our local law enforcement, and both of our county sheriffs. There's been a great amount of communication.
And we also want to urge you to use some caution when driving around the base. All this week, you're going to see an increase in traffic as well as some detours depending on the day and the exercises taking place. For now, reporting live at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Kelly King, 2 News Today, working for you.
The city of Dayton has filed a lawsuit against the state over its new law regarding red light and speed cameras.
The law gives cities who use red light and speed cameras less state funding based on the money earned from those violations. 2 News reporter Kristen Esnell spoke with city officials and state lawmakers about the lawsuit in this developing story.
Dayton city officials say their red light and speed cameras are making a difference. According to the city's chief trial counsel, crashes have dropped 45% where the red light cameras were placed, and crashes have dropped 30% where speed cameras were installed.
They've been proven to increase safety, reduce accidents, reduce injuries, and also they help us to better allocate police resources.
John Musto says that's why the city is suing the state to stop enforcement of House Bill 62. The new law takes away state funding from cities that use red light and speed cameras based on how much money they earn from violations. The law also requires appeals of tickets to be heard in court instead of by an administrative officer, and bans the cameras from being used on interstate highways.
It's not a money grab. The penalty is stayed $85 the entire time for the program. It's never gone up.
But some state lawmakers say it is a money grab. State Representative Niraj Antani, who says he has co-sponsored previous versions of House Bill 62, calls the city's lawsuit shameful.
This law very simply says you can't profit off of citizens, that every dollar you take from a citizen for red light, less dollar you're going to get from the state of Ohio.
Local drivers shared mixed opinions on the cameras in the city's lawsuit.
I'm wondering what the city's reason for suing is. I mean, are they putting the red light cameras out to make money, or are they putting them out for safety?
That was Kristen Escal reporting. An injunction was granted in Toledo by the county's Common Police Court, but it was ruled that it can only be applied in Toledo. Here in the Miami Valley, Trotwood is also used like
to have to put a lot of concealer in there and then foundation.
Realism, but we've also in place safety measures to ensure that we know how to stop and communicate.
During this week's exercises, the base will have a special group of controllers who will be in contact with 911 dispatchers. They'll tell police everything that's going on just in case someone does call 911. Well, Dayton is now suing Ohio over red light and speed cameras. The city is asking a judge to block the state from enforcing House Bill 62, saying it's unconstitutional. The law says, however much a city collects and fines, it will lose out on in state funding. The city's complaint says Dayton is expecting to bring in about $6.5 million in fines this year. It argues that extra money is important to help rebuild from the tornadoes and cover the cost of the security at a hate group rally. 506 and crews are working on the damage to the press box at Evans Stadium in Springfield. News Center 7 first told you last week about the rain and wind damage. The district said it will not have the damage fixed before the high school football season begins, so games would have to be moved to the stadium at Springfield High School. The change would only involve high school games. I have a feeling if you are going to be working, fixing some damage outside today, probably not a great day.
No, we got some showers that are just going to be a nuisance. It's just on and off again. Nothing really severe in particular. We're watching a batch of thunderstorms that's moving into the Preble County area, into southern portions of Darke County, up around 127 if you're going to be traveling that general direction in those counties. Just the heads up. And even right along 70, you're running to some of the shower activity. And it could be heavy at times, even over towards Centerville in Indiana. They're seeing a thunderstorm move through that area. Greene County Fair is today. Not the best of days to go to a fair. I'm not going to completely rule it out, but it's certainly going to be on the damp side. And temperatures will be comfortable with it. 78 by noontime, then 82 for a high for the afternoon. But you'll have to keep an eye to the sky and keep the umbrella and the rain gear with you because we have on and off again shower activity. Things are going to look much better for the weekend, however. What a contrast. 85 degrees for us still on Saturday. Plenty of sunshine there. The UV index is going to be high, so you'll certainly have to slap on the sunscreen. But the temperatures will be comfortable. The humidity is going to be on the tolerable side. I wouldn't say completely comfortable, but tolerable. Then by the time we move into Sunday, I'm still going to call it partly to mostly sunny. I may back off just a little bit on the isolated storm chance, but we'll keep it in there for now. But it's only about a 20% chance. The heat index is going to be in the lower 90s because we're going to be a little bit warmer, about 87 for us as we move into the day on Sunday. So a pretty good typical weekend on top, but we got a pretty good work week coming up as well. When do you see the 5-day forecast coming up in the next few minutes? First, the weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Let's get to Sergeant Mark Bowering this morning, who's watching our roadways. Good morning, Sergeant.
And Dante, good morning to you. Our Tuesday morning drives actually started out very well. We've had a chance to talk to several area police departments, and right now we're looking live at Interstate 75 at Stanley Avenue in the city of Dayton. And then the southbound lanes at this point of the freeway.
You don't want me to come with you?
I'm very sure.
Because I can make good choices.
You make good choices.
Delicious high fiber raisin bran.
I am. Fiber is good for digestion.
Good choices never tasted so good.
Is skincare from around the world better than Olay? Olay Regenerist makes 131 premium products from 12 countries over 10 years. Olay's hydration will come be in every time. Olay, safe and safe.
My husband was in an auto accident and he was in intensive care. I called at 7:30 in the morning. Blake himself answered the phone. He came out to my house that morning. He take care of paperwork, all phone calls. It relieved a lot of stress. Our wife was very caring, passionate. It was not even probably 8 months.
He's obviously behind you.
Ultra Deck Inspired, decking that makes life easier. Natural wicker and texture, you never have to stain or paint. Slip-resistant surface that takes on weather. Durable, long-lasting material that takes on life. Tough, sustainable, and beautiful. Ultra Deck Inspired for every lifestyle. Exclusively at Menards.
Joseph Chevrolet's summer sellout. New 2019 Equinox under 20,000. New 2019 Malibu under 20,000. Only at Joseph Chevrolet.
My tooth pain was like the equivalent of a hammer. It's just hitting your mouth, bang and bang and bang. You can't concentrate. This pain is throbbing. So my mother recommended Orajel. It eliminates the pain. You feel so much relief. If you want something that's instant, get Orajel.
News Center 7 is brought to you by Miami Valley Honda Dealers.
That affects everyone around everybody. Wrong way crashes. We've seen the tragic outcome all too often in the Miami Valley. It'll be a real hard time for a lot of people. And now the I-Team's John Goodell is getting involved. He is also piloting these detection systems. A new technology designed to stop wrong way driving. And we reverse our video in a test to show you what's being done to keep everyone on the road safe. Wednesday on News Center 7 beginning at 5. Check out the No Money Down lease at Jeff Wyler Toyota in Springfield.
Welcome back to News Center 7's Daybreak 512. A live look here at traffic tracker. Now, this is westbound I-70 near Richmond. And as Storm Center 7 meteorologist Dante Jones has been tracking and saying rain moving into Miami Valley. You can see it right there on westbound I-70. The windshield wipers working this morning, wet roads. You will have low visibility as you head out. Use caution. We'll continue to track what you can expect for your morning commute. Some of those sounds you just heard will be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York this year. This is all part of the Drum Corps International from last night. By the way, this is the 40th year Centerville has hosted that event. Being as far away as California participating. Every year we have some of the best groups in the country. This year, the top 2 groups in the country are actually here tonight. So we're seeing the best of the best. Very cool. The event raises money for Centerville Band Booth. The Centerville Band will be in the Macy's Day Parade next year. Ohio's tax-free weekend kicks off Friday, giving parents and students some relief when they go to buy their school supporting items, school supplies, or school instructional materials. However, that applies to closing less than $75 in school materials, less than $20. Customers who want to beat the crowds can order online and pick up in-store, and they will still get those tax-free items. The United Way will be hosting a Stuff the Bus event on Friday in downtown Dayton. People will be able to donate school supplies on Courthouse Square to help with after-school programs across the Miami Valley. News 7 will be there to help with the donation drive. That event runs from 5 to 9 p.m. Friday evening. 514 for more information on this weekend sales tax-free holiday. How you can get involved with Friday's Stuff the Bus event. It's simple. Just go to WHIO.com. Once there, you'll find a complete list of donation items requested, as well as all the items eligible for this weekend's sales. You can also find them on our free WHIO News app. To download, just search WHIO in your app store. Legendary Dayton bands are coming together in response to one of the biggest natural disasters to hit the Miami Valley in recent history. 4 acts, including the Ohio Players, will be featured in 937 Live Hometown Legends for Relief. That show is September 18th at the Rose Music Center in Huber Heights. Tickets go on sale at 11 a.m. Friday. Meanwhile, a women's clothing line handed out 5,000 pieces of clothing to help tornado victims. This was the second clothing giveaway courtesy of LuLaRoe Consultants. Last month, 20 consultants from the Miami Valley donated 5,000 clothing items all to tornado victims. When LuLaRoe Corporate found out about that donation, it decided to donate 5,000 additional pieces. That happened yesterday.
LuLaRoe is all about giving back. loving on people, sharing, caring. That's what this company's always been about. And this event's just an extension of that.
Well, New Path Outreach organized the giveaways. New Path directors at these partnerships help get assistance to those who need it. Well, the Greene County Fair is helping people impacted by the Memorial Day tornadoes. This Saturday, the last day of the fair, tickets will be discounted, and $1 from every ticket will go to tornado relief. One man News 67 spoke about why he enjoys the fair.
It's just the camaraderie. All your friends are here. There's so much stuff to do. There's always something new going on. It's never the same.
And the fair runs throughout this week. Gates open every day at 8 a.m. Well, the Ohio State Fair is hosting a sensory-friendly morning tomorrow from 10 to 1. Fair leaders say lights will be dimmed and sound will be turned down for those with disabilities. Anyone planning to attend can buy a $5 pass so they can park closer to the front as well. Tickets are $10 for adults, $8 for children and seniors. That fair runs through Sunday. 516, 71 degrees. You see it right over my shoulder. Live Doppler 7 radar tracking rain as it rolls in. We want to get straight to Storm Center 7 meteorologist Dante Jones.
Yeah, perfectly placed right over the shoulder there. We got some thunderstorms that are moving into the Preble County area this morning, and those are sub-severe. So drenching downpour at times, and maybe there might be some gusty winds with some of these, but the bulk of the rain showers now with the system that's moving in the general flow ahead of the front is down into southern portions of Ohio and into central Ohio. But we've got this batch here with some converging winds moving in out of Indiana. Weekend as it moves across the Miami Valley. But we'll scoot a little bit closer. Good morning to you, Eaton. You're seeing the rain showers right now. Traveling right along 127, 70, 35, seeing the shower activity, and then going right into Indiana, right around the Richmond, Indiana area, where we saw traffic. That's where the thunderstorm is. So the windshield wipers are going to be going on high in that general direction. And again, left to the east, County, going to see the bulk of that. See that Connersville over in Indiana, some heavy downpours right about now for you. That's just to the north of Blooming Grove. So it's a wet morning and a wet commute for some of us this morning. Downtown Springfield showing us it's on the quiet side in the upper 60s to lower 70s this morning. So it is muggy, it's warm, and there's some areas of patchy falling out there too that you might have to watch on your way into work. On and off again, shower and thunderstorms through the day. There could be some heavy downpours at times. Temperatures going to reach the lower 80s, about 82 for us for the afternoon. The future count playing out the storm chances for the morning rush, where we continue to see the threat for showers and embedded thunderstorms for the morning rush. So it is going to be a wet morning commute for us. Even at noontime, if you're looking at lunch outdoors, well, you're probably just learning a bit indoors because the shower activity going to persist. Maybe the embedded thunderstorm looks like maybe in the southern portions of Miami Valley, where we get the best convergence of winds with this frontal bound, which is really snaking its way across the Miami Valley, not going fast at all. For the evening rush, more pop-up showers, isolated thunderstorms, so not a drenching downpour, but it's a nuisance rain. And then it's out of here by about midnight. We've got drier skies overnight, partly to mostly cloudy is what we call it, just on the damp side. And then the front still gets hung up. It's just really moving slowly. So tomorrow, with the front around the area, just to the south of us, we can still see a resurgence of a pop-up shower thunderstorm just to the south of 70 and probably just to the east of 71 around that general area tomorrow. So we're talking the Butler, Warren, Clinton County areas, maybe towards, I'd say probably even places like Preble County, Montgomery County, even over to places like Clark and Greene County. You can see a few pop-up showers or storms for the afternoon tomorrow, but we're going to be predominantly drier. Won't be as showery and stormy as today. So temperature trends, well, we're going to be right around average, just below average, about 82, 83 for the work week, and then for the weekend, about 84, 85 degrees. Then Sunday, we bump it up a little bit to about 87. So 82 today, scattered rain and thunderstorms. We are not as hot. And overnight tonight, we're drying out, partly cloudy. We're on the damp side, and it's a patchy fall. Temperatures right around 63. Then 82 tomorrow, partly cloudy, comfortable, and isolated shower thunderstorm. And look at that gorgeous 5-day forecast. Sunshine for us as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Temperatures in the lower end of 80s. All right, weather and traffic every 10 minutes. Let's check in with the one and only Sergeant Mark Fowler this morning. Good morning, Sergeant.
Dante, good morning again to you. We are at least some areas where we do have some wet driving conditions. This will look like the spot I'm showing you right here is seeing any of that right now. This is 75, Interstate 75, right on the Miami-Montgomery County line between Tip City and Vandalia. Right now, the drive there is 12 miles south on 75 to Route 35. And it looks like it's taken about 12 to 13, so we're still in good shape here. I'm Sergeant Mark Allen, WHI Team Traffic.
Sergeant, thank you. 520, 71 degrees, and a man who robbed the bank was getting on bond. Before that robbery, but surprised investigators. And the state is investigating after a triathlete was killed. The event has been safe in the future.
We wonder what sets his name alive is his notebook dropping a big Hobbs & Shaw confession.
I just want to bet.
Next, PT. Tonight at 7:30 on Channel 7.
Why do you need fast, reliable internet so your world doesn't turn upside down? Turn it around. Switch to Spectrum. And give your family what they deserve. Switch to Spectrum Internet for just $44.99 a month with free modem. Call 1-833-624-4499. With speeds of 100 megabits, you'll be able to connect your devices at the same time and with no data caps. Spectrum Internet has the fastest, most consistent download speeds based on the latest FCC report. AT&T can't say that. And with Spectrum TV, you get over 125 channels with free HD and free on demand. Plus, you get the free Spectrum TV app to stream your favorite shows and movies in and outside your house. Switch to Spectrum TV for just $44.99 a month. Call 1-833-624-4499 and no contract. Call and switch to Spectrum Internet and TV for just $44.99 a month each. Spectrum will even buy out your current contract up to $500. Call 1-833-624-4499. Turn your world around. Call now.
That welcomes a new day. Grain returns to serving his best. Rose and Mike renew their spirits. Rick regains his stride, and a bit more. Lives transformed. Thanks to a one-of-a-kind place where innovative medicine and the most compassionate specialists are devoted to helping each patient reach new heights. Like Katie, who can walk. This is Kettering Brain and Spine.
Congratulations to Jared and Brenda of Urbana. They just got their brand new Blazer for free.
Thank you so much. I never thought this could ever happen.
We'll draw our next winner on September 1st to buy your vehicle from any Judgment location, and it could be free. Go to JeffDeal.com for more details.
It's a fair for all seasons at the 180th Greene County Fair, going on now through August 3rd. Fantastic fair food, rides, games, entertainment, and more at the Greene County Fair. Visit GreeneCountyFairgrounds.com. That's GreeneCountyFairgrounds.com.
If an auto accident caused you injury, call Helping Out at 1-800-HELP-OHIO.
Friends don't friends miss Love Island because you can join me on good. They brought their abs. Catch up on demand and join me here at CBS tonight.
Who starred in 2 hit comedies and won 3 Emmys? It's you.
Yes, that's me.
This fall, Patricia Heaton's back on CBS, making the rounds and living the dream.
Wow, rounds are intense. Try teaching 49th graders how to dissect a problem. You'll find out who the serial killers are.
Carol's second act, CBS this fall.
523, we've been talking about rain, and right here it is. This is westbound I-70 near Richmond. Thanks to our traffic. We got Storm Center 7 meteorologist Dante Jones tracking rain as it makes its way into the Miami Valley. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Just use caution as you head out the door. Also, investigators this morning still not sure what caused the fire that destroyed an RV in Madrigal Township in Clark County. Now, I first brought you this story. It's breaking news yesterday right here on Daybreak. The fire on Upland Drive spread to a house and garage and also damaged 2 classic vehicles inside of that garage. People who live in the house will be able to stay here. 18 months in prison for a man who robbed a Springfield bank and then bought beer with some of the stolen cash. Jeffrey Pulper robbed a Security National Bank on West Main Street in June. After the holdup, well, he went to the nearby drive-thru and bought some beer. They said before the bank robbery, Holbert tried to steal beer from that same drive-thru, but was stopped by an employee. Holbert told the workers he would return this month. Okay, 12/5/25 in a Preble County.
Wash microbiome gel.
Years younger, fast. If you've been waiting to
Head against the wall, which caused those injuries. However, doctors say the injuries were caused by multiple incidents. 525, the Ohio State Patrol is investigating after a female triathlete was killed
while competing in an Ironman race over the weekend. Officials say Kristen Oswald was struck by a tractor trailer while riding her bicycle in the Ironman 70.3 Ohio as an athlete.
Whether it's the swim, the bike, the run, there's always safety concerns, and you do your best to be diligent and you do your best to protect yourself, but not always able to happen.
Troopers say they do not believe the truck driver was at fault. Pennsylvania State Police say an Ohio man driving an SUV was killed after a deer struck by a car went airborne and went into the man's windshield. Now, this crash happened in the western part of the state. The victim and his passenger are from Akron. The passenger is now recovering at the hospital. The driver who hit the deer was not hurt. It is 5:26 and coming up right here on News at 7 Daybreak. Dozens of cats will be up for adoption today after they survived a deadly dog attack inside of the camp.
And West Nile virus is detected by Butler County health officials. What you can do to protect yourself.
What helps Kourtney Kardashian find a man?
Can we say both? I think they would be happy with that.
Ellen, today at 4 on Channel 7. Always wanted to do this. This is going to be awesome. Let's do this.
Babe, what are you doing? I'm done with the bathroom. Who are you? A bath fitter installer, remember? Bath fitter custom made our new bath to fit perfectly over the old one, so there's no demo or mess.
Impressive. Wait, so no demo? Sorry.
Bath fitter will remodel your bath with no messy demolition in as little as 1 day. Call now or visit bathfitter.com for a free in-home consultation.
It's an inventory sale at Logan. Save 50% off a Trane air conditioner when you purchase the furnace and get 0% APR for 60 months. It's hard to stop a Trane. Free estimates. Call now. Logan Services.
Congratulations to Jared and Brenda of Urbana. They just got their brand new Blazer for free. Thank you so much. I never thought this could ever happen to me.
We'll draw our next winner on September 1st, so buy your vehicle from any Judgment location, and it could be free. Go to jetfuel.com for more details. With Advil, you'll ask, what sore muscles? What pound head? Advil is relief that's fast, strength that lasts. You'll ask, what pain? With Advil.
I work hard to protect this ticket. To take care of any messy situations and put irritation in its place. And if I can get comfortable keeping this ticket safe and protected, you can get comfortable doing the same as yours. Preparation H. Get comfortable with it.
At Landings of Huber Heights, life is filled with fun, friendship, security, and care. Call us today to inquire about our all-inclusive rates located at 6200 Bell Fountain Road. And remember, home is not a place, it is a feeling.
Hey, that boy, show me Mocha Red.
Okay.
Does it have a smooth, durable finish?
Yes, and it's 50% more stain resistant than
Still talking to Dutch Boy?
Dutch boy, show me Sleepy Purple.
Okay.
Oh, but you look at that.
That's better.
He'll still help us paint, right?